Welcome to the channel of PACIFIC414. Show us this loyalty. Throw yourself onto the subscribe button and submit yourself to the live streams, gaming streams, and so much more. Pathetic earthlings, I command you.
Pop Talk is where it's at, baby. Pop.
Welcome to the channel of PACIFIC414. Show us this loyalty. Throw yourself onto the subscribe button and submit yourself to the live streams, gaming streams, and so much more. Pathetic earthlings, I command you.
Warning, due to adult language and humor, the following content may not be suitable for any viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following live stream or video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome, one and all, to the Sunday edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk, along with Bear Norman Tag and Cash Money 007, who is here. He's just doing a few things. I am your host, Mike. And today, I am happy to announce that we are joined by Janet from another planet. Janet, welcome to the channel and welcome to PACIFIC414 Pop Talk.
Thank you.
Yay!
I'm happy to be here.
So, Janet, when it comes to your YouTube channel, what inspired you to create it?
Well, I'm a big nerd, and when I first started watching YouTube, I used to watch The Inquisition with Nerdrotic and Doomcock.
Mm-hmm.
And I became a big fan of Doomcock and Nerdrotic on that in the chat. And I met a lot of, the wrenches like Eric K and Just Another Red Shirt and a few others. And that's what started me to start following some of the other people from the different channels off of their, list of people that watch them. And then I started watching, Doomcock's channel, and then I started watching ads and, all these others. And I always made little goofy videos, with the goofy glasses and stuff from Snapchat and from some of the other dumb apps that's out there just for, dumbness. And I would send it to people. And when TikTok came around, someone said, you should have a TikTok channel and put your stuff on it. And I was like, what? Never thought of it. So I thought, what the heck? So I started a TikTok, and I just put some of them on there because some of mine are really, were really over the top. So I didn't, funny, dirty wise, so I didn't put them on there, dirty jokes and things like that. So then, I think it was Eric K said something about, well, you should just start a YouTube channel, and do some live streams and stuff. I go, I don't know if I'd ever do live streams or whatever. I don't think I would, get into that or whatever. And so when YouTube came out with shorts, I went, yeah, I'm just going to transition my channel that I already had and make it into Janet from Another Planet. Because before it was just, American Woman or whatever. I used another name. But I changed it to Janet from Another Planet because that was my nickname, and started putting my shorts on there. So, and then from there, I just started making, like, I started doing some live streams because of Almond Fate. He wanted me to come live on his channel, and I was last year, the year before last, my first live stream was on his YouTube channel on New Year's Eve. So
Very nice.
that was my very first live stream, and it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. And after that, I said, well, I guess I can, maybe read my book, because I have a book that I write under the name of Jackie Blue on Booksy.
Okay.
And it's about werewolves, vampires, witches and warlocks and familiars and archangels, basically. And I'm reading little bite-sized pieces live on my channel. I try to do it every week, but so much has been going on the last, couple of months. I've not been able to do it every single week, but I'm still trying to do that. And then, I just do my shorts and make, spontaneous little videos, and I put them on TikTok. I put them on my Discord. I also put them on Instagram and Twitter, and here, basically, YouTube.
Very nice. And you're also one of the co-hosts with Bruce Lombardo on his channel.
I do movie reviews with him. What was funny is that his girlfriend at the time was following me on Instagram, and he said that she showed him a couple of my videos. And he thought I was crazy. So he sent me some messages and asked me if I would be interested in maybe coming on his show as a guest. And I said, what the heck? So I did. And after we talked a little bit, he thought that it would be fun for us to do movie reviews together. So
Very nice.
40 now. So it's been fun. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
And that is one of the nice things about doing YouTube, is being able to meet different people, not just from across the country, but from around the world, and finding out how small the world is because of YouTube, and how all of us are into a lot of things, and we do care about what's going on as far as pop culture is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
We all have our own unique takes on it, and that's fine. But we're all here battling the same fight.
Yeah, and I think it also helps us open our eyes up to the different styles around the world too. So it's an adventure. It's great, meeting all these people, and they all talk about something we don't know about, and it's like, well, we're learning too. Believe it or not, we actually learn sometimes. Can't say that about Cash, and look who's here. Yeah, Cash.
Oh boy, Baron, I'm gonna have to put you in a box, dude, with Whoopa.
Oh,
Put you in a Pokeball.
what did Whoopa do? What did I do?
Yes.
Well, wait a minute, you can't put him in a box.
No, I can't. Put
He's a managing moderator. He can put you in a box.
Yeah, he can't put Baby in the
I am
box.
too, though. So
I think we need a bigger box. Well, now that you're here, we can definitely say this.
Cash Money can put his change in my piggy bank any day.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a miracle that Jenna even comes back to this madness.
Well, I did want to ask you, Janet, your experience on YouTube, the highs and lows, the pros and cons. What has probably been the most rewarding of doing YouTube?
You mean my personal, from my experience and working on
Yes.
it, or from just meeting people on here?
Your experience in general.
Well, my experience has been, the best part, I think, is the people that I became friends with in a chat, just week after week after week, after going like Klobby's channel, watching Star Trek on the weekend, and talking about different episodes and making friends on there. And then my friends are the ones that were supporting me to try to make my own channel. And then whenever I'm having a problem, like, I don't know what to do. How do I do this? Or what do I do for that? Or how do I do this or that? And they all are willing to help me. So it's like a real, I've met some really good people that I've been friends with for like 5 years. I mean, like Drew Taylor from the United Resistance that I'm on Tuesdays. And I haven't been on it as very long. I mean, he asked me a few times, but I felt like I didn't think it was fair, because he was already monetized. And I'm like, well, I just don't feel comfortable going on your channel, because I don't want people to think that, you're we got some kind of thing going on or something, and that's why you had me on your channel to help me or whatever. So that's one reason why I chose to go on Amon's channel first, because he had fewer subscribers than I did. And, I helped him out and he helped me, and it taught me a lot. So, I just love the camaraderie between all the people I get to talk to that love pop, things as much as I do, like, comic books and collecting figurines and going to Comic-Con and WizardCon, all that type of stuff. Because growing up, I got made fun of because of it. Even, I was a girl, but I had 4 sisters that weren't into the stuff I was into. So, even guys made fun of me that weren't, into it. So,
They're the
Who had the last laugh?
Yeah.
well, when I went back to visit not very long ago, when my mom was sick before she passed away, they were all happy to see me and stuff. And, we're grown-ups now, though, so it's a big difference.
Right.
From high
Well, I
school.
know. Oh, sorry.
I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Okay. I was just going to say, I did see you with that lovely Star Trek uniform, the original series one. We were on that one show.
Yeah,
So I
that
can
was,
imagine.
you're on the
Potato
56th
Reason.
sixth
that his
anniversary. No, it's right here on this channel.
It was on this
Oh,
channel?
was
I can't
it?
remember.
56th
I couldn't remember. I've
anniversary.
done quite a few different channels. So
Me too.
I love dressing up, and I have bunches of different, Andorian. I've got an Andorian costume and the blue makeup and everything. And then I have my blue and my red. I have my doctor uniform. I got a lot of stuff. And my Romulan ears and wigs.
And what do you enjoy? What is your favorite thing to dress up as for cosplay?
Gosh, it just depends on my mood. I've dressed up as like a little Swedish maid. I've done a lot, Janet from Rocky Horror Picture Show. I've done lots of cosplays, not just all comic book stuff. So I enjoy all of it. Because you got to be in the mood to do certain things. You know what I mean? Like if you're not in the mood to work on your car or change the oil, it's no fun. So you want to, be in the mood, basically. So
Because when you're in the mood to, do a chore like fixing your car, it goes by a lot quicker.
well, you want to get it done when you're ready and say, okay, it's warm outside. I got my tools ready. I just had a warm lunch. Let's go get it done and get it done like in half the amount of time that it would be when you're just going, oh God, this sucks. I think so.
Is that why it seems like it goes forever when I'm on this show? Just curious.
Maybe, I don't know.
Very
This is my
funny,
first
Baron.
time.
Baron.
And of course, you talk about the filters that you use for on there. I know Cashbane was asking, "Is that her real eyes?"
Yes,
He did. He asked us one time.
It tripped me out. It really did,
I
Janet.
said-
I was like, when I was watching that, when you were on the 350 subscribers show, I'm like, man, those eyes are tripping me out. Like, it's just.
Well, they're blue. They're really light blue, but some of the filters do make them look really, really like almost like I'm blind. But
wow.
I'm not blind, and they're not really that light, but they are light blue.
Okay. And your whole name, I was curious. Your whole name, it's not from some show or anything, because I know there was like a Janet character in the Schoolhouse Rock.
No, it's not from that.
Okay.
I just had somebody. I went to it was in the junior chamber, and I went to an event, an awards banquet, and there was a DJ there, and I was talking to him, and he's the one that said, yeah, how you doing, Janet from Another Planet? And he just called me that. So I don't know where he came up with the name, but I thought it was funny, and I liked it. So after that, a lot of people call me Janet from Another Planet because they think I'm nuts and crazy and that I don't seem like I'm from here. So it stuck. So when it was time for me to, come up with something to do it was different for YouTube, I chose that. So I thought it would be a good fun name for me, and I can do a lot of stuff under it and not be stuck in one genre. You know what I mean?
Very good. Yeah, that's
exactly, because
so go ahead.
That's something that Cash, Baron, and myself and a few others have talked about. How did we come up with our YouTube channel names? Did we come up with the name so it was tied to something? Or did we come up with a name where it wasn't inside a box of a particular franchise like Star Trek or Back to the Future or anything like that? For me, I picked the original address of where I lived when I lived in California. And since I grew up in California, I thought, there's the Pacific Ocean. Well, why don't I just go with Pacific 414?
And we don't hold it against them either.
That is a different, unique name, though.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I haven't really had a chance to really ask a lot of people how they came up with their names or their unique names, because there's a lot of really cool names that I've seen. Like, who thinks of like Doomcock? I mean, honestly, but the whole thing fits.
Mhm.
For him. So that's what makes you unique, I think. And you put into it what you get from it. And if it's exciting, it makes you feel good that day, then, or you just want to be like when, Razor Fist does his rants. Oh, it's awesome, but it fits him. So,
yeah, I mean, with Razor Fist, with Doomcock, it fits the persona that they're giving you on camera, or a lot of times in the video, because Doomcock doesn't go on camera.
That's exactly what I was trying to do at first when I came up with the avatar, because of some of the things that I do in the real world. I just didn't feel comfortable letting very many people see me because I don't know. I don't know. I've had a few people who have left me really scary messages on my YouTube channel or my Instagram, or not so. You'd think TikTok would have been the worst, but Instagram and YouTube have not been very kindly when it comes to people telling me to go to another planet and commit suicide and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you do, Baron? I told you.
Or somebody saying
I'm
that they know
sorry.
where I live.
Janet,
things
I'm
like that
sorry.
scary. I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
it is. It's just really scary.
I'll be nicer next time.
That
Well, I
is scary,
appreciate
but I know I've seen on certain live streams after I'm finished, I've gotten those same types of comments, and also on videos. You can find a lot of nice people here, but there are people on this platform who are just here to be trolls.
That's for sure.
Yeah, especially one that we have in our chat right now, which we have to sit back and
This
go.
is Patrick Stewart, and I wish to tell Phil McCracken that I hate him also.
Well, I did see him in the chat, so
Yep, that's why I
let me
played
go
that.
ahead and acknowledge everybody who is here right now in the chat. First, I want to say hello to Whoopa Troopa. Hello, Whoopa. How are you doing today?
Whoopa, whoopa. I always have to do that one. So,
I also want to say hello to Captain Fandom Nerd. Hope you're doing well today. Good to see you. I also want to say hello to Resolute Germ. How are you doing today, Resolute? And of course, we mentioned him, and now you're seeing his latest comment. Phil McCracken, who says, "We need to save Janet from these three insane men. Run, Janet, run. Blink 3 times if you're in danger."
Well, I feel pretty safe right now, so.
Oh.
But at least I know somebody's looking out for me. That makes me feel good.
I don't know if he's necessarily looking out for
I
anybody.
wouldn't do that. No. Unless it was Waffle House Girl.
True. He has some weird fixation with Waffle House Girl.
Yeah, he does. It is odd.
And
love Waffle House.
if you've seen the video from, I don't know where this Waffle House was located, but there was a fight going on, and one of the patrons picked up a chair and threw it, and one of the girls who worked at Waffle House was able to catch it with her hand, and
She's like Wonder Woman. Is crazy.
I know.
Yeah, she got fired.
yeah,
I know.
she did.
Yeah,
she broke her
because
sugar shaker.
Mm-hmm,
And then she went on, what was it, Tucker show, and then she got canned after that. So I guess she embarrassed them when they didn't give her a bonus or a raise or anything after how she handled that. Pretty sad.
Yeah, and then they blacklisted her from all Waffle House. She can't work at any of them. It's insane.
I haven't
Yeah.
ate at Waffle House since then either. So there you go. They lost my patronage.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. When these companies do things that we don't like, we need to turn our backs on them. If they're going to turn their backs on, you know, other consumers just because of one reason or another, then do the same to them. Say,
Well,
all right.
I mean, if she would have went out and just told people what had happened, but they didn't have it on video, most people would have said, "Yeah, whatever." But it's videotaped from their surveillance cameras too, and she said they watched that, and they still said, "Well, we have to write you up for breaking a sugar shaker when someone threw a chair at her." I think that's ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
They,
And it's not the fact that she's a girl. If it had been a guy and he went through the same thing, I would say the same thing. I just
Yeah,
think
of course.
that is bad, a very bad manager of that store, period.
It just looked like a ghetto situation, or just people acting stupid, and just to because they didn't get their food on time, or they, people. Why show respect to people who work for her? You ordered your food. you need to act like an a-hole. It's great.
Well, where we're at right now, it's kind of like people are spoiled now. I mean, when you can get
Yes.
on your phone and order Uber Eats or certain things to be delivered right to your house, or pull up at the store and they bring it out to your car and things like that. So it's like, I got to have it right now. I got to have it right now. And then you go and you're standing in line and there's like 20 other people in there. And you're, shorthanded or whatever, because people had lost their job due to COVID or whatever. We don't know, because we don't stand around talking to people and asking why did you get fired? People just don't do that. And then they get mad because they didn't get their food, within 5 minutes. If you like your service, you have the right to turn around and leave. Go somewhere else and spend your money. But attacking people in the stores and stuff like that, or stealing from them because you're mad at them, or I don't know. I don't understand it. To me, it's all ridiculous. It makes no sense, and it's just pitiful. I don't know if we're ever going to recover from all this mess. Honestly.
I like to give it this
I'm
term:
not sure.
the fast food society. We want everything now, 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 now. We're not willing to wait.
Yep. Scary.
No.
I'm glad I eat most of my things at home. I buy, it's cheaper. I go and I buy the stuff I need. I make a great big salad at the beginning of the week. And each day I'll add like tuna or pepperoni or roast chicken or something like that, and have a salad every day. And it's good for me. And it tastes good. And I know what's in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, exactly where it's coming from.
So.
And I also want to say hello to Nova Vaughn. Welcome, Nova Vaughn. And as I scroll down here, I also want to say hello to Pops. Good to see you, Pops.
Yeah, thank you everyone for showing up.
Yes.
Great support.
And somehow my comment that I put in there went under you in there. It's like Janet from Three's Company. I had a crush on her.
Yeah, she was gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Did you know she had in her contract that she always had to wear stockings, like legs?
Really?
So if you ever watch the show, notice that she's always wearing nylons in every episode, because it was in her contract. I don't know if it was something to do. I don't know why, but she insisted on it.
Yeah, that's another show that's surrounded by some controversy. It's pretty crazy, especially the whole thing of Suzanne Summers. It's funny to think it's like, oh, these shows are run well. Nope. There's some problems. There's always issues.
Oh, I think all shows do, honestly.
Some have more than others, but when a lot of people are around and you're working and there's money, of course, involved, it's just there's going to be issues. So.
And I also want to say hello to the Padawannabe and congratulations, Whoopa Troopa. What did I miss? Let me scroll back up on the comments and.
Do you have a bowel movement or something?
Finally found his trainer. Yeah.
I know he was close to 200 subscribers.
Maybe his Pokeball After Dark was successful.
Have any of you guys played that game? Darn it. It's where you draw a picture and each person draws different things depending on what you draw from the game, and then at the end you have to. The computer tells you what the story is from each of you writing or drawing something.
Yeah,
It's Jackbox or something.
I can't remember the name of it, but we did do.
I think it's called Jackbox.
A little bit of that here on the channel a few months ago.
Yeah, with Paul.
So I did that on another YouTube channel, and it got very immature.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious though to watch people play that game. I'm thinking about buying it just so I can do it on my, I want to have like a big private live stream with just my subscribers, but actually make it private, because so many people say they're going to have a membership stream or whatever, and they have everyone in it. So I want to figure out, I've been asking everyone on my Discord how I can send out invitations, just to my subscribers and keep it private and never even post it, because I know I'm never going to be monetized, because I have to have 4,000 hours of view time, and since my shorts are like 35 seconds or not even a minute or something like that, it's going to take me 5 years to get 4,000 minutes. So I'm not even focused on anything like that. So I want to do it because it's fun, and I want my subscribers to know how much they mean to me. And if I can have a live stream for like when I get to my 500, I'd like to have a live stream, but make it private, and then I can play music and do whatever the heck I want, because nobody's going to see it except for my subs, right? But I don't know how to do it, because everybody says, I don't know if you can do it. But it says right on your thing when you go live, it says private. So I know you can do it, and I know that
there is a way to do it, and anybody here on the panel can correct me if I'm wrong, and anybody in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. But if you set the stream to private, you should still be able to send out the invitations, and you can also send the link to the actual stream itself to your different Discord groups or Twitter groups or Facebook groups.
Yeah, because
this way, people can still click on and watch it.
Yeah, and just my subs. I hope they wouldn't share it with anyone, because I'd like to keep it private. But I think it'd be cool. I mean, to have like people that are like secretly watching you, and they don't tell anyone. They're embarrassed that they're watching some girl with cartoon eyes and glasses or whatever. But and they can come in the private stream, be able to take a mic and come up, and talk, ask questions, or play a game or something like that, knowing that it's never going to go public. You know what I mean? Because I like doing things that are different than other people try to do, and I enjoy that part of it. And I think a member stream should be members only, type thing. And that's what I'm planning on trying to do, something like that. But it's hard because I don't understand anything. I'm trying to learn, and I'm really not blonde. I'm really a brunette. So, it's just hard. It's a lot of work. To try to how to do this stuff.
There are certain things I can do. I know there are certain things Baron can do better than me, and things that Cash can do better than the two of us combined. So it's always picking somebody's brain and saying, well, how do you do this? How do you do this? What if you wanted to add this? Well, then you got to do this.
Why did you have to give ego boost to Cash like that? He's not gonna let it. No. He's gonna be insufferable now.
The hell you say, Baron?
What was that, Cash? What did you say? What did you say?
What the hell you say?
I used to love that show.
I still love it. That's a great show.
Yeah, I love Futurama. Was one of my very favorite cartoons for grown-ups.
Yeah.
I think I watched every episode. I love that show. My favorite one was Death by Snoo Snoo.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I love that episode. And the other one is the one where Fry is drinking all the coffee. And he gets to 300 cups, and he's like supersonic.
Yeah.
Saves everyone in that building from the fire. I just love it. That was a genius show. I mean, absolutely genius writers.
Yeah, it was.
It was funny, and then Fox screwed it over. Then it went to Comedy Central, and then now they want to bring it back, and with how things have changed, it may
There's no
not be the
way.
same anymore. And I
Mhm.
don't know if you can even want to bring it back now. And unfortunately, like Simpsons has been going on forever. The same ones who worked on Simpsons, of course, worked on Futurama, and it's getting more seasons. I think it's up to like going to be like 35 now or something, because it's just still popular. And even though they've changed some of the voices, which is just disheartening, because it just doesn't sound like some of the characters, Carl and Dr. Hibbert. Um, it's just too bad. But something like Futurama, the way it ended was great. I don't really feel it needs to come back. But even Phineas and Ferb is coming back, and I love that show. And I thought that show was great for kids and adults.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
And
mean, it depends on the writer. Sometimes you can watch something and the parents laugh, the kids giggle a little, but they don't have they don't understand the undertone of the joke.
Mhm.
So that's one reason why I like South Park a lot, because there was so much of that undertones, and the kids would laugh.
Mhm.
But I was really surprised when I went to go see the movie South Park, the movie, the one with the
Mhm.
Mhm.
Saddam Hussein and
Uh,
stuff in it,
Yeah.
and there was so many parents in line with children. I was like, who would bring their kid to see
I
this movie?
yes.
I think
I
it
was
holds
surprised.
the record for having the most F words in there.
It
Well, the
probably
whole
does.
thing with the cutout
Yeah, it probably
penis,
does.
the cutout penis that was in the scene with the devil and Saddam Hussein.
Hmm.
I remember the interview I watched, and I think it was Trey's penis.
Oh,
Because they couldn't use cutouts from these magazines and porn hub and stuff, where they got all these pictures. It's because of copyright infringement, so they had to
Mhm.
use one of their own penises. So that whole thing was just so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. Those
makeup.
guys are funny.
Yeah, it was great.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada. That's the best part.
Yeah. Saddam, I don't know what to do now, Saddam. Yeah, it was really it was
it was
such a
over the
funny
top,
show.
and
Very over
it
the
was when
top.
we had a sense of
Terrence
humor.
and Phillips. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hi guy. How you doing, guy? Yeah, that was
You ain't
Saddam
my guy,
Hussein,
guy.
and then the Terrence and Phillips stuff was just so funny. And
You can't
yeah,
laugh at anything anymore. You
Oh,
know.
no, they don't want to. Everything is just. I We need comedies again. People need to
mhm.
laugh about stuff, and we just need to not worry about offending people. But just the people who are, I don't know, a lot of the industry, Disney and different, they just they don't care. So we just keep going through the motions again. And I don't know the last time I saw a comedy that was like really really funny. I think the new what was it, the Minions film was pretty funny. It wasn't overly funny, but it was funny.
Mhm.
And but now it's just like they make these jokes and they're like, "You want to laugh at this, right?" It's like, "No, this is stupid." Yeah.
Yeah, people look around before they laugh because they're worried somebody's going to take offense to them laughing at something that they found funny. I mean, like Team America World Police. I mean, they could
Oh
not make that
god.
movie today.
No, they couldn't. They
There's
couldn't.
no way. There's no way they could make that movie today. I mean, it would uh, be raked over the coals, be
Oh
thrown
well,
under
it's
the bus.
horrible too because it's not just like the people on Twitter or this and that. It's also the critics,
Oh
and
yeah.
they
Mhm.
just go, "You have to like this." It's like, no, I don't. And if you don't like this, I don't care.
Right. Well, it's
Well,
not
that's why we
critiquing
don't
them.
fit in, because we
No,
say "f
no,
you." I don't have to
that's
watch that
right.
crap. I'm not
Mhm.
interested.
No.
So, oh
You know,
well.
well, yeah. I mean, they don't critique no more. Exactly. It's just you have to. You have to. You have to. It's like in the old days. It's like, okay, this is why I liked it, and they explained, or this is why I didn't like it, and they explained,
Yep.
or
Yep.
such. But you don't have that no more, and that's
No,
what's
you
nice
don't.
about this community. It's like, well, we were just talking earlier about that SNL skit that they had with Mario Kart,
Hmm.
and you
Yes,
Hmm.
know,
it's very
it
funny.
was just yeah, it was, and
It was
just
clever. They
mhm,
can combine Mario and The Last of Us together. I thought that
yeah.
was quite funny. Then they had Pedro Pascal be acting like Mario. It was so funny. It was funny, but yeah, they need more of that. and
Yeah.
sometimes they get it right. But SNL, it's funny because like they win all these awards. It's like, you know what happened to, like, I think Mad TV could have won some awards when they were actually big, and
Yeah, in Living Color.
Living Colored,
Mhm.
Living Color, yeah.
There was
That
a
Right.
was
bunch of
a
good
quality
stuff
show.
then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
mean,
they
there
don't
was
say that.
Married with Children.
Yeah.
Golly, in the 80s and 90s, there was some really good stuff on TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing, yeah, is just the prestigiousness of it all. It's like, it's funny they would criticize Married with Children, but then Roseanne would do the same thing maybe the next season,
Right. Right.
and they would be praised for what they
Yeah.
did on there. Of
But
course,
when
one of the things.
Oh,
Mhm,
did okay.
Big Bang came out, I thought it was
Mhm.
awesome show. I loved it. I
Mhm.
loved the two sidekicks. I loved the portrayal of the way they portrayed the nerds.
mhm,
I mean, everything, because I felt like it was a show for me. It was about me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even though
Yep.
I'm a girl, and I'm definitely not the blonde bombshell, character from the show, but I felt like I fit in. I felt like Blossom, getting to
That
be,
was a good show.
in the middle of it. But I just loved that show. I thought it was very ingenious. The writing was excellent. The characters they put in there and the actors they got to play the characters just made the whole thing was just really, really well done.
Yep.
And it was funny. It filled different gaps, and it actually got people to look at nerds as not such people from other planets, that they live amongst us, and you can have a really good relationship with a nerd because a nerd can actually help you with certain things.
Yeah, they just went away from the geek culture, but even like the Will Wheaton stuff was funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you get in arguments with people and say that show was horrible, that show was awful, that show hurt geeks, and they did the last few seasons. They did have some monologues for Sheldon that didn't land very well, if I remember, Janet. And but
Yeah.
overall, even the show ended well after, I think it was 13 seasons. But I mean, remember that what was it? The James Earl Jones one. Let me
mhm.
guess, you like Star Wars? Me too. And then like they share an ice cream, and then they go and bother Carrie Fisher. Like it was just very funny.
That was that. Yeah, I mean, for me, Big Bang Theory, I thought started really strong, but it really started for me. It got weak, and I
Yeah,
kind of lost
because
interest.
they let
Mhm.
the woke into it.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
what killed the
Okay,
show. Is when
Hmm.
they started trying to force an agenda on us.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, that's when you see it every time. There's a great show. The first season is phenomenal.
Hmm.
I mean, like Firefly. I mean, geez, that was an awesome
Great
show,
show.
and
Yeah.
Fox
it didn't
screwed that
last long
hard.
because people didn't. Not us, you and I liked it, but the upper people were like, it's not in the direction that we want to go,
Yeah,
or whatever.
Fox was just
What
out
what's
to
this
screw
show
that
all
show
about?
hard.
I don't get it. How many times have
Yep.
we heard where a network executive or the board says, "I don't get it."
That's why when they decided to do the movie Serenity, the fans funded it because they wanted that ending. They needed that closure.
Right.
But Fox screwed that show hard, just like
Mhm.
FX screwed a show called Thief a number of years ago. That had a lot of potential. That got like 6 episodes. Then you have other shows like the Clerks animated series when Kevin Smith wasn't. This was before his heart attack and all that, but
When he was
and
funny.
it was a very funny show, and it was just out
Mhm.
of the box. They said Charles Barkley would say something. They go, "Get out of here, Charles Barkley, get out!"
Yeah.
And then he
I
would
also
he
like
would
that
look
show.
so sad. It was so funny, but they screwed that show too. And on ABC, it's like, oh, this is not appropriate. It's like, and unfortunately, it never got to like Comedy Central or something where it probably could have shined.
Hmm. The one thing I have to give a lot of props to for Big Bang, though, is that episode with James
Mhm.
Earl Jones. That's the first
Mhm.
time Carrie Fisher and James Earl Jones actually met.
It's
Was
Mhm.
so
on that.
crazy.
You think about all those years of Star Wars conventions,
Mhm.
premieres and screenings. That's the first time they met, and it's like, wow, it's just hard to grasp that.
Yep. They had that, and then they had Bob Newhart was very
Hmm.
funny. Like it just they had some really great guest stars, and even
Adam West.
Adam West. That's right,
Hmm.
he did guest star too.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
were a
they had,
lot of stars on there.
Hmm.
Yeah, they did some good stuff, but of course they went away from the geek culture. Like I would have loved to see more episodes with Will Wheaton versus Sheldon, and like he loses in the card game, and he goes Wheaton, he goes Wes, yeah, he goes Wheaton or whatever. He
Yeah,
screams at the top of his lungs at the end of the episode. So funny.
Yeah,
and it also.
the
Oh,
one
sorry.
where they were trapped on the side of the road in their Star Trek uniforms
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. It was just something you would never see on any other show ever, and
Mhm.
you won't again. I mean, it's just stuff that it's just it made me feel good because I love Star Trek. I loved watching reruns of Star Trek with my dad. I grew up doing that. I still love it. I miss getting to do that with my dad, but there's little things like that it's heartwarming when you see other people who enjoyed doing that as much as I did. And it just makes you feel good to know there's so many other people that Big Bang became such a hit, and it wasn't just because they were trying to cram an agenda on us. Because when it first came out, it was actually a really good show to show you what it was like to live in the life of a person that sees the world so differently than most people that you meet on the street, through the eyes of a person who loves these things.
Mhm.
Going to
Yep.
a comic book shop, and with the whole episode about uh, that no girls ever come in there, and stuff like that. I guess it's real because I could go in a comic book store and spend hours in there. I mean,
yeah.
and be going, God, I wish I was rich because I could buy more stuff. But a lot of people just don't understand what that's like. I get those looks, when I go, hey, let's get decked out and go to WizardCon, for the weekend and get some VIP tickets, because I had VIP tickets to meet Stan Lee before he died and things like that. I mean, it's just people just don't understand. People that are not in it do not understand. That's why I loved Galaxy Quest. That's one of the movies that I
Yeah.
loved because it
Mhm.
brought me
So
back
good.
to who I am, and to be proud of what I love, and not to be ashamed of it, because that's exactly how I feel about it.
It was a love
Yep.
letter. It was a love letter to Star Trek and the fans, really, if you
Hmm.
look at it. That's why many
Yep.
people count that as one of the best Star Trek films out there, even though it's a Star Trek film.
Hmm. It was
And,
great.
yeah, and I think my big problem with the Big Bang Theory was, especially as it was getting woke and all that, it started becoming a point that you started getting what I call the fake fan, because it's cool or hip to be a nerd, and they weren't really nerds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the only thing. It's like, if you're a nerd, you're a nerd. You don't act like a nerd. You don't pose as a nerd. And that was my only problem after a while with Big Bang Theory, especially when you're dealing with people. It's like, no, 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 no. It is either you are or you aren't. It's like you can
Hmm.
appreciate it or not. And that's one of the big problems I had with Big Bang, especially like you said, when it got long further and got more woke, and you started getting the woke people getting involved with the quote unquote fandom.
Well, it's just Hugh Laurie, or sorry, not Hugh Laurie. Who I'm thinking that's House.
Hmm.
um, I can't think of his name right now. The one who created Big Bang,
Yeah.
Mike and Molly, Chuck
Two and a
Lorre.
half.
Right?
Chuck Lorre,
Is
yeah,
it
two and a
Chuck
half men.
Lorre? Yeah, he going to a college that was connected with the industry, like actually connected because of the script writing classes and so on. Like having a professor who worked at CBS, and we got to go to free tapings because of that for this film class. But he told me that that guy could be an egomaniac, but a lot of his shows, Mike and Molly, it just doesn't click with me.
No.
I've watched a lot of the Two and a Half Men, but I think the best show he's done now is Young Sheldon, but that's because I like Sheldon. And I would recommend like Young Sheldon to a lot of people if they like the character of Sheldon in Bang, if they like him in the Big Bang Theory. If they don't, then they don't want to find out about him growing up.
That's because you are our Sheldon. That's why.
I'm definitely not. He takes that to a new level. But no, Sheldon of course won an Emmy. The actor
Yeah, he
Jim
did.
Parsons
Yep.
won an Emmy because it's just something you just hadn't seen. It's just his timing. He's got
Mhm.
really good timing. And even the kid they found for young. Do you watch Young Sheldon, by the way, Janet? Or
Yeah,
just,
I don't watch it
you do?
regularly, but I have
Okay.
watched a lot of episodes.
Yes, and they are still exploring some of the nerd culture in there, and he's watching Star Trek, or he's playing D&D, and he's trying to tell the older people at the college, because he's considered a whiz kid, and he's like 10 years old, 12,
Yeah.
15 now. And he's just, and they don't like it, and he gets annoyed. He's working at a comic book store. They show him going to the comic book store. They show him some problems happen. His family is interesting. Then they have a good quality supporting cast. Like Young Sheldon is, if you like Sheldon the character, then I would highly recommend that show. It can be quite funny.
Yeah, the mother's character, I think, is really, really good. And the woman they got to play the mother does a
Laurie Metcalf.
very believable for a mother with a dingbat daughter, and her twin is a genius. So like he teases her about her getting the bad DNA. I just think it's adorable.
The sister has some of the best one-liners. It's just her timing is so great, and she can make me laugh.
Yeah, she's adorable.
What else do you like to watch, Janet?
I'm trying to think. I don't watch a lot of regular television. I after, I don't know, just got so boring. I just started watching YouTube basically.
Right.
Most of the shows on YouTube. And then I watch, let's see, I watched The Expanse, which I thought was very good. Is it called Squid Games? I watched that, which I really liked. I'm into a lot of movies and things like that, especially mostly foreign films and things that you have to have subtitles, I guess. I liked the Kingdom. I thought that was excellent. I'm watching Yellowstone right now, which I really like. But you got to remember,
my dad loves that show.
I had a horse growing up, and I rode in rodeos, a barrel race, and stuff like that. So I'm really into the cowboys and stuff. Even though I swore I would not marry a goat roper, and that's why I moved. So I got away from the South. Because I said I did not want to end up here, but I'm back here again because it's the only place that I feel is going to be safe one day. But I don't know. I just like a variety. It just depends on, the characters and stuff. I might watch it. Oh, The Sandman hasn't been too bad. Just a few out there. I can't name them all because it's like as soon as I get put on the spot, I go blank. Oh, Cobra Kai. That's another one I loved. I loved it. Well, it's starting to get a little more, hate to say it, agenda driven.
You think so? What do you feel has been agenda driven about it?
The one girl character being, every bit as good as everyone else, just because she's a badass and she's had a tough life. And then you got the one kid who's spoiled rotten brat, and he has to be a white guy. I don't know. It's just to me the typical stuff that comes out, which I just don't like that. I wish they just let the characters just evolve in a natural arc. I mean, I write, so I've had people come to me and say, "We love your story. We want to do this with it. Will you change this, that, and the other?" And I'm like, no. If I change this, that, and the other, the story is no longer the same story. You have to change everything about their backstory to make them the new person they're going to be. That kind of stuff. So if you don't like the story, then you need to find another one. So it's tough, to stick to your beliefs on what you have. And not fall for the money, to say, well, you give me this money, you can have the story, and then I don't get any credit because I sold the rights to the story away to someone else, and their name will be up next to the director's name, that type of thing. So it just, it's feeding yourself and putting food on your table while you're waiting for your big break to have somebody actually look at your stuff and like it and give you credit for it, which is tough.
A wonderful thing. Yeah, we love your story, but change it. Well, then you don't love the story.
That's,
Well, they love the premise of it, but once you get someone to sign a non-disclosure, they can't just take it from you. So, I wish more people would learn to protect their rights. So because there's a lot of young people that are good writers, and they have a really good story. They just need like critiquing or whatever, and they're waiting tables or they're bartending or whatever else, and then someone comes and says, "I'll pay you $5,000 cash if you just sell me that." Okay. And they'll say, okay. And they sign a paper. And next thing you know, that's made into a big blockbuster and they get nothing but $5,000 bucks.
That's right.
And their name will never be brought up again for a new story because nobody knows them.
No, that's why George Lucas's approach was, ahead of its time, because he took all the creative, rights, kept them for himself, and the merchandising rights.
You can't do that now. They won't. They will not. They do. If you say, well, I want to own the characters and I want this or I want that, they'll just say, sorry, they're going to the next person. There's too many people out there. And then later on, you'll see a show come out that's very similar to what you had written down, but because they know just enough to change a certain amount of things so that they can't be sued. And plus, they know that you're not rich and you can't get a lawyer that's going to take them through court for 5 years. Just can't do it. So basically, you're just shit out of luck unless you're in bed with the right person, apparently.
Sometimes more ways than one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why they always say, read the contract. You sign
Read all the fine print.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And speaking of the devil, George Lucas.
Hello, George.
Hello, George. And I do want to say hello to a few other people who have popped up in the chat as well. I want to say hello to my brother from another mother. He's known as Common Sense America. He's probably the only one of us who has common sense when he's on this panel, the Smoking Patriot.
Well, I suspect to say Janet does. Yeah, Janet's got common sense. Us three, however.
It's one of the things I try to strive to have is a little common sense.
It's good to have common sense.
Yes. I also want to say hello to Mr. Tickle Trunk. Welcome.
Yep, good to see you again, man.
Bush McFadden. How are you doing today? Let's see.
That 70s show just didn't click with me, but I like the father a lot and the mother.
And he may not be on the panel, but he is here, so I am obligated, especially to make Phil McCracken happy, to play this clip.
Anonymous. Anonymous. Anonymous.
Welcome, Anonymous. And of course, we have Lord Crit from Everest Production.
We do. He's out there.
Lord Crit is so sexy.
And I may have already said hello to you, Resolute Germ, but I'm going to say hello to you twice. Hello, Resolute Germ.
The crazy thing is now, like, AI is actually becoming more of a more relevant, and now it's getting to the point, even I heard the other day, where it's like you can just train your AI to write, do this. It's like that's not good. That's not good.
No.
That's gonna really. What are we doing? Are we starting the Terminator? We're Skynet.
Yes, we are starting Skynet, and we've got someone who might defend us from Skynet, or if his plane's corrupted, his own plane might attack him. We got JetSparks 373 in the chat.
Yep.
All right, I was trying to make a joke and it fell flat. What else?
Oh, yeah. Oh, good.
You sit in the corner and think about what you said, Mike.
Yeah. I don't care if this is your show or not. Sit in the corner.
And we also have Cavatino and Calvary Man Shay. Welcome.
Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. That's important.
Yes. Hit the like button. Make sure you're sharing out the stream. And if you're new here, consider subscribing.
You can't tell me what to do.
We can tell you. You just don't have to do it.
True.
We're in America. We have freedom to say we tell you to stick up your butt if we want.
America, F yeah!
Yeah, that's right.
Because here's the thing. I can say that, and anybody watching, whether they're chatting or they're just lurking or they're listening.
How about no?
Yep.
Oh gosh. And one day Paul's gonna actually watch those movies, freaking Master Paul.
Yeah, he's gotta.
These whippersnappers these days.
These young whippersnappers who don't know good television if it's right in front of them. And of course, I also want to say hello to Bone. Welcome, everybody.
Yep.
And we also have Kitty Bear. Welcome, Kitty Bear.
You were talking about like the AI and all that, and I brought this up many times. People have to find a movie called Looker, and I believe it was a Crichton film, or Crichton was involved with Michael Crichton, and starring Albert Finney and James Colburn as the villain. And the whole thing was a premise around basically taking a person's image, digitizing it, and using it like CGI. This is back in 1980, 1981. This film was way ahead of its time. And the topic around it was the rights. Who has the rights to these images? And it involves, and of course, so it turns into this murder mystery. Anybody, which I thought, wow, when we have this day now, this is kind of an interesting thing, as we're talking about, using the different voices, people CGIing dead actors or actresses into things, holograms of dead rock stars.
Like they did with Tom Cruise a few years back on the deep fake. That's becoming, but it's like, do we want to bring these actors back this way? I don't know if we do.
Well, not only that, during this past baseball season when the Cubs were playing the Reds in Iowa at the Field of Dreams game, they had a computer-generated Harry Carey, and everybody, including myself, was going, "That's awful. That's freaky looking. That's scary. Get it off the screen."
Well, they did it in The Mandalorian, if you don't remember, and everybody was cheering it on.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke Skywalker appeared.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. I'll admit it. I was
it just depends, I think, on how they use it and whether it's what its intention, is.
And I think the big difference too was Mark Hamill was actively involved in it. He was basically doing the part, and then they just deep faked the young Luke over him.
Yeah, I think I think the original actor or the person who owns the rights, a family member or the grandson or whatever, whoever owns the rights to it, should be able to have some say in it. I don't think that your picture, if you didn't have any children or whatever, should just be able to be used for whatever, because they could put you in porn. You know what I mean? We don't know what they're going to do with it. And to have somebody that, like I don't know, some famous writer that wrote religious doctrine, and then all of a sudden they're in porn, because they were attractive or whatever. I just think that would be a horrible abuse of power.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, exactly on there. And of course, let's not forget the other deep fake they did too was Jeff Bridges and Tron.
That's right. That actually did work.
That did, yeah. But again, he was involved, so it's not like you're taking someone who wasn't there. And,
exactly.
Do you know of anyone that they've used like that wasn't involved? It was like basically
Peter Cushing for Rogue One.
Yep.
They did something of John Wayne in some ad for Budweiser or something. You'd have to look it up, but
that's
it was kind of like
to look into.
Kind of hologram thing going on. Yeah. Then they have some hologram stuff at these music festivals. I guess they've done that now with Tupac, and it's like, and people are paying for this. It's crazy. I don't know.
Well, some of the beginning was it Singing in the Rain, but instead of having the umbrella, it was a vacuum cleaner for some vacuum cleaner company. I think that was one of the first ones that came out and did that in that fashion.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And I know the Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, they basically took stuff from Lord Laurence Olivier and just had like a hologram of him, just his face in that one. I know they did that in that film. But
and the Padawannabe is asking, where's the heist movie where the criminals use face swap to fool all the cameras? I believe that's Face Off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Face Off was great.
Face Off, isn't that the movie with, what was it, Nicolas Cage?
Mhm.
Where they
Travolta.
swapped each other's faces?
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was a really good movie, though.
Mhm.
Yes, it was.
So I liked it.
And Anonymous says, I believe there are laws against using likenesses of people without consent. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Should
they
still be.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they started really doing that, but it starts coming down to who has the rights to the dead now. Is it going to be a trust? If they don't have a trust and there's nothing out there, are they fair game? Has it been so long they can take something that would be considered open domain? There's this. It's going to be kind of interesting as we go along here with.
I mean,
Mhm.
like, um, uh, when you have a son that looks a lot like the dad, or a daughter that looks a lot like the mother, and the mother or dad was famous actors, and you
Mhm,
get the child to portray them as a younger them in a
mhm.
movie. I've seen that a few times. I'm trying to remember exactly
Yeah.
all the different ones, but
Yeah.
Didn't
Desi
Carrie
Arnaz Jr.
Fisher's daughter
who?
didn't
Des. Oh,
Carrie
sorry.
Fisher's daughter actually step in for a few shots after her mother passed away? I could be
I think
wrong,
so.
but
Yeah, she
I
was
don't know about that.
Yeah,
she was in American Horror Story in 1984. That's just crazy. Yeah.
but Desi
Like
Arnaz Jr.
Kiefer
did it for his
Sutherland,
father.
he looks like his dad, but he's a small version of him, But if you didn't do a close up of how tall he is, they resemble a lot, where they could
Yeah.
definitely play themselves. And Kurt Russell's son looks a lot like Kurt Russell. He could be him
Mhm.
as a child. So there was lots of ways to get around using certain people. By using their daughter or their child or their grandchild, instead of having to use the CGI. That is if they can act. See, that's the thing, is whether or not they're
Yes.
believable actors.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
they've been begging Sean Pertwee to portray his father as a doctor because he looks so much like his father uh, when he was dressed up. He did that for like Halloween or for a costume party. He dressed up as his
Mhm.
father's third doctor. It's like everyone was going, "Yeah, he should play the doctor. He should play his father." And he's going, "No, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that."
Yeah. Paul Walker's brother looks so much like him. It's
Mhm.
crazy. It's in one of the more recent Fast and the Furious movies.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
that was
Because
Fast 7.
Vin
that's a
Diesel has a twin brother, but doesn't look anything like him. So it's just really weird how genetics can either make you
Mhm.
look just like someone or not anything like someone, and be
Mhm.
blood
Yes.
related.
Definitely.
Yeah, Ice Cube's son does look a lot like his dad.
And Padawan also adds that his son played
Mhm.
Ice Cube in Straight Outta Compton. I haven't seen that movie yet.
Very good film. I highly recommend it. I don't
Yeah.
usually care for rap or gangster rap or whatever, but very interesting stories in that movie. Yes.
Cash really identified with it. He figured this was how it was like for me as a kid growing up, trying to break into the rap industry so I can get out of here.
Yeah, me and Eminem were talking a lot. Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm sure everybody who's here on the panel and who's here on the chat is probably wondering, so what articles are we going to discuss on today's show?
No.
Well, I will tell you which articles we are going to discuss, and yeah, Baron, I expect that answer from you each and every time.
Yep. I don't want to disappoint.
Now, whether we get to all these articles is another thing, because there have been times where we haven't gotten to every article, and that's okay. Hey, hey, don't make me put you in timeout.
Hey, yeah, that's abuse. You hear you hear what goes on here sometimes, Janet.
I know.
Oh, it's okay.
I have
Well,
to keep
Playful
Cash and
banter.
Darren in line. I have to
Well,
keep them in line.
Yeah, this is Mike before the show and during the show and after the show.
Respect my authority! Respect my authority! Respect my authority!
Whoa. I only hit it once. Wow. Okay. Well, of course, his other thing he likes to say before we go out there is "Don't f this up," and usually it's directed at me.
Do we got a clip for that, Baron?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
I haven't made any new clips recently. But we have an article from CBR that says that Colin Farrell has been telling people how many episodes are in the Batman spin-off series for Penguin.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that
And
article.
I also have an article from Geek Tyrant where Seth Rogen, of all people, is saying Marvel movies are for kids.
Oh boy.
And they're just not for him.
He also said that the best high school movie is Superbad. So
consider the source. Consider the source.
Yeah.
And we also have a sad story. It's from the Hollywood Reporter, and it's about the passing of Melinda Dillon.
Yeah. 83 years old.
Well, she had a good long life. I mean, and but you think about the impact she made on a lot of people when we were young. With the Christmas Story, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. She did a great job in both of those. And when you think about them, you think about her character and what she had to deal with when thinking her husband was insane. In Close Encounters. So I thought she was a really good actress. I know she was in a lot more, but those are the two that pop in my head right now. But yeah, 83. I hope I make it. I hope I make it 83. But I want to be able to do things. I want to get old, but I want to be able to still walk and not be where I have to be laying in a bed and someone have to be taking care of me. So I'm hoping I'm at home and I just die in my chair watching TV or whatever. Who couldn't want that? That's a good life.
Jet Sparks is wondering if you've ever watched A Christmas Story, she was Ralphie Parker's mom, Ralphie and Randy's mom.
Yeah, Melinda Dillon.
Or she was the wife in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah. Watching as he's making Devil's Tower out of mashed potatoes,
or bringing all the yard dirt and grass in the house in her living room, when she just was like, "What's going on?" She did a great job portraying that character because you could see that she was tormented by not knowing what to do because she loved this man, but she was afraid for her family, her children. Not knowing what he was capable of doing, which was, really sad and good at the same time because she was trying to support him because she wanted to believe him. But,
and if I remember right, she was nominated for that role.
Yeah, I think so. I think she was nominated for an award for that, for supporting actress.
Yep. And the other article I have lined up, again, we don't have to get to all these articles. We only get to 1, 2, or maybe 3. That's fine too. But I have an article about My Hero Academia topping 85 million copies in circulation worldwide from Anime News Network. I also have a story from Bounty in the Comics about EA delaying Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. And I also have another story from Bounty in the Comics where it says Anime Industry Insider reveals why multiple series are suddenly going on indefinite hiatus. So, of those stories, which story would you like to start with first?
Why don't we let our guest choose?
I agree.
All right.
Well, I did read the articles, but I can't really talk that much about the anime stuff because I'm not really into anime. I know I'm a terrible person to some people that really like it, but the whole thing with the Batman movie, Colin Farrell, I thought that movie was good. I mean, I had a lot of people tell me they thought it was shit. It was a terrible movie, but I really thought it was well made. I mean, considering. It was very dark, but the portrayal he did of the Penguin for, more lifelike mafia type, baron, that is controlling certain nefarious things going on in the city to make a lot of money, and it controlled the police and the things he needed. I thought he did a very good job. And if I didn't know who he was, I wouldn't have recognized him. You know what I mean? I think he did great.
They did a wonderful job with his makeup and
I just wish that movie it was like, it's time to end. Nope, it's not time to end. All right, it's time to end. Nope, it's not time to end. All right, we're gonna end here.
Well,
that
every director, thinks their vision of whatever story that they're going to tell is going to be better than everyone else's. I mean, that's their vision, and sometimes they're right.
True.
The thing is, if
Sometimes.
we don't feel that way, then it's not a huge hit. See, but if we do,
No.
just like Top Gun Maverick, right?
Mhm.
They wanted to make it. A lot of people said, "Oh, whatever," and they made it. And guess what? The people spoke and said it was damn good. It was worth going to see. So, it all comes down to whether or not they can take the script, turning it into something that when you watch it, you're seeing the same thing they wanted you to see. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Instead of feeling like it's being forced upon you while you're sitting there the whole time going, "Oh my God, why do I have to sit here and watch
It
this?"
wasn't. Exactly. It wasn't Birds of Prey or Wonder Woman 1984. People
Well,
who
see,
tell me, "Oh, I enjoy that," I'm like, "I'm glad for you," And then they go. Then one
but
of my
that's what I'm
friends gets
saying.
very upset when I say that the way I say it because it's just this is not. This is I wouldn't call this entertainment. It's funny to me also, Janet, because we know that they have all this money and they can make some amazing stuff. The first Wonder Woman movie to me feels a lot like the 2009 animated movie, which is a very good thing. But then they just went in many different directions. But with the Batman, I just didn't like Zoe as Catwoman. I thought she was too much of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I just laugh when I say that.
Well,
'Cause
they
it's just
wanted
like
to
I
make
wanted to
her.
throw her in the window sometimes,
Well,
but
the thing is, they wanted to
yeah,
make her, Batwoman. They wanted to make her
right.
better
Mhm.
than everyone else in the script. She had the most right to do this, or she had the most right to do that. And I'm a woman, and I'm a real woman. I was born a woman. Okay, everything I have is original parts.
Yep.
Okay, and I thought she did okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I could have
She was
been.
all
It could have
right.
been worse, but
They just
I didn't
didn't
think
need
she
that
did
comment.
Michelle Pfeiffer good.
Oh, no.
I didn't
No,
think
I
she
don't
was
either.
anywhere near Michelle Pfeiffer's character as
No, and
portraying
yeah.
the tortured character that she was. She acted like a spoiled rotten brat,
Mhm.
not a
She
woman
did.
that had mental problems. You see, it's
Right.
totally different
And
to
then
me as a
Batman's
woman.
right. Yes.
So, you know, so,
Yep.
but I'm the wrong color, so I can't really say that. Even though I have a vajayjay, I can't say that because I'm not the right skin color. But I'm doing it simply because I love movies and I like to see the character try to be as original to the character from the comic book as they can be. I mean, like Deadpool. When I went and saw the movie with
Oh.
Wolverine, and I saw
Mhm.
what they did to Deadpool. The Merc part was awesome, but as soon as they zipped his mouth shut and put laser eyes and
Yeah.
shit on him, I was pissed. I was ready to get up and leave, because I was so mad. Because to me,
Yeah.
that was it really pissed me off because they just tore Deadpool to shreds, basically.
Mhm.
It was not Deadpool at all. I don't know what they were. It was Franken Dead or whatever. I don't know what it was. It was just bullshit. So it really pissed me off. But to see Ryan Reynolds take the character and do what he did with it, it was.
Mhm.
I'm so thankful because I can love the character that I loved in Deadpool and Cable comic books that I had and that I still
Nice.
have, and and have respect for it. When I watch it, I laugh. I love his character. I love his portrayal of it, and I can feel the love from him for the character. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It makes you want to watch it. I mean, everyone may not feel exactly the way I do, but I just thought like him sitting on the bridge, kicking his legs back and forth while he's drawing a picture. I mean, it just, nobody can understand how I feel just thinking little things like that and him talking to me as I'm reading the comic book, I don't know. My sisters don't understand it because they never read the comic book. So,
Right.
and
Mhm.
it's just sad to me that they have no idea how tore up something is when they watch it because I'm like, oh, I thought Captain Marvel was awesome. I'm like, oh, don't talk to me. I just leave because it just makes me want to barf. I just can't take
It's
it. But this whole thing, my perspective on this whole Batman Penguin sequel for HBO, I can understand why they're doing it, because they've got to start bringing people to streaming because they're not making enough money anymore at movie theaters. So they have to have something that they will. And HBO, to me, is already proven that it can be box office gold. I mean, with the Game of Thrones and some of the other shows that they've had on there, True Detective, the first season,
Oh,
with
that was such a
the original series beginning. They can have really good stuff, an adult oriented type content, where me as a grown woman can sit down and watch it and not worry about him saying shit, damn, or whatever other words, or if there's boobs or full frontal nudity, or if I don't want to watch it, then I just don't watch it. But I have the option to watch it.
I'm for full frontal.
So, well, I mean, I like the fact that I can do that. When you go to Disney, you pretty much know you're not going to get it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by saying, okay, do I want to spend $30 a month on HBO, or do I want to spend $30 a month on that? And I'm going to pick the one that's more, toward me, or what I think I'm going to enjoy more. And it's not going to be some of the stuff they have on Disney, for sure. But my point of view on it was that I thought that the 8 episodes that he said that they were going to do is to set up another Batman movie, that James Gunn and is it Peter Safran or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, they want to bring new blood to a series, you know what I mean? And they want to, but it's stretched tighter than my grandmother's girdle, really, you know what I mean? So this is all good if we hope it may be better than what we've seen in the past, to make better quality DC Universe, projects down the road. Hopefully, I mean, we don't know, but if Colin Farrell's involved and he puts the same care and love into this character for the TV series that I feel that he put in for the portrayal of him in the movie, even though the rest of the movie wasn't perfect around him, if he does that, it could be a damn good series. You know what I mean? So I got a little glimmer of hope that this might be a really good mafia type Penguin character, that shows the underworkings of the darkness, in the city, and why he became who he is and why he does what he does, that type of thing. But it just seems, I don't know. It's unlikely the fact that it's gonna, I don't know, that it comes to our comic books and heroes, villains, and stuff like that. That the sad fact is, if there's one really, really good episode of a new series that's like this, that they get praise for the whole show. You know what I mean? Instead of taking it one episode at a time and saying, well, this episode or that episode was really good, but the rest of it was shite. People don't want to do that. They wanted to say, well, it was great, because this episode was great. And that's it. Like, I don't know, the new Mando series that came out. It's not Mando. The other one, I didn't like it. But I don't talk about it that much. I don't talk about it much.
Likes to call the Book of Boba Fett the Book of Boobaloo.
It was just, to me, it was shite.
It was.
But I don't like to argue with people, and people have the right to their opinion. It's just funny that when you give your opinion, it's always wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, always. Well, that's the thing, like with DC Marvel, where people grew up in the 90s or the 80s or whatever, and they saw just like, you could just see the great drama of something like X-Men, and then when X-Men came to Fox and you watch something like X2, or even like you said, Janet, Deadpool, like these are just great movies. They're just the great characters, and they keep missing opportunities all the time. It's like, look, there's all this lore, you guys don't want to use it, okay, but you also don't go with a compelling drama. It's either this woman is stronger than this character. It's like, but this show's about Moon Knight, for example, and so the female becomes stronger than he does, and it's just silly to me. And I just wish that that's the same thing with DC, like James Gunn, like, we're going to reboot this, we're going to do that. That's great, but if you guys are lost, there's stuff like the old Justice League cartoon that you can look at.
Mhm.
We could have something like that. That was great entertainment.
What was
Where
that
we had
director?
stories and character
I'm sorry.
development, and so all kinds.
What was that director that I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry, but I can't help it. I can talk everyone's head off. I'm really bad at that. Um,
You can interrupt them all you want. We do.
that director that said, I don't want anyone in this movie or involved in it if they read the comic book. What was that? I remember that being
Oh
on
yeah.
something.
I can't remember, but they
But
just
that's what I'm talking about. Those
Mhm.
people should not make comic book movies, period. If you
No.
don't
no,
have
they
any
shouldn't.
love for a project,
Right.
why are you
I
doing
agree.
it? See,
I agree.
that
They
pisses
just
me
it's the
off.
same thing with the Cowboy Bebop series, and one of my friends,
Hmm.
"Oh, I love that." I'm like, "Did you watch the anime? Like, this is not how the character is supposed to act." It's like, "Well, she can be different." Well, that's great, but it's still not fitting well, and that's why a lot of the anime fans, for example, turned away, and they put money into it, and then they don't always put enough money into it, like Book of Boobaloo, or even like Kenobi didn't make me feel much. My other friends loved it because Hayden's back and Ewan's back, and that's great. But there needs to still be more. Like I don't care about Riva and you talking about all kinds of different things or making something political. It doesn't matter. I just want quality characters. I want good character development. I want to actually care about them. We have so much of the Marvel and the DC, and that we're not getting the other movies, like even Suicide Squad 2. Like, there were some things I liked about it, Janet, but then there
Hmm.
was other stuff that I'm like, well, this is boring, and
Yeah,
they're
I thought it
just
was
these jokes
good.
aren't landing. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
just
thought
didn't feel they
Suicide
were
Squad was
landing.
really good. Not
Hmm.
so much every bit of the storyline and things like that, the
Right.
way the script was written, but I was happy to see all the different characters being brought in because that's
Mhm.
the thing that I get so upset about. They say, well,
Hmm.
we want a gay man or we want a lesbian
Hmm.
woman. Well, go
Hmm.
to the comic book and read.
Hmm.
There's tons of lesbians. There's
Hmm.
other gay men in these comic books. Use them. Don't make Superman gay just because you want a gay character. Why? What? There's no
Right.
premise behind it. There's no
Yep.
reason to do it when there's plenty of characters in these universes to
Yep.
do whatever you
Great.
want and whatever
It's
story you
lazy.
want to push.
Hmm.
That's
It,
that pisses me off. I'm sorry.
they they do that. I know they do that, and then they want to make these characters always a victim. Well, where is the triumph that we saw before in the comic books? That's why stuff like the Netflix Marvel stuff that they did, they actually pushed boundaries. We saw what was going on with Daredevil. We saw what was going on with some of these characters, and they were not afraid to kill off people and just gruesome ways. And
Mhm.
I just wish Disney would understand, since they have that property, that bringing back those shows or even adding to them would be good, from Jessica Jones to
Mhm.
Daredevil. Like, that really felt like you were watching a comic book instead of reading it, that you were just watching these scenes and the way that they presented them. And I just would like to see more of that and more adult entertainment, MA type entertainment that we saw with stuff like Daredevil, which I still need to finish, and Luke Cage, and like there was just some really really good dialogue in there,
Yeah,
and some really interesting storylines.
my favorite comic book series is it was a 6-issue series. It was called The Midnight Suns. I don't know if any of
Mhm.
you know who that is. And it's SONS, not SUNS. And
Okay.
the characters are all like Morbius. I'm trying to remember all the names. Doctor Strange was in it a little bit, but they fight the dark arts, and they're anti-heroes basically. I love Deadpool. I love Wolverine. I guess I'm attracted to the anti-hero, someone who's a bad boy, in front of everyone, but is a nice guy in the background, I guess. Maybe that's it. But I seem to be drawn to that. And I would love, I mean, I've dreamed about it for years to see the Midnight Suns come to life. And when I first heard about Doctor Strange they're going to come out with this movie. And then I saw, well, I guess I can deal with who they have to play the lead character. But I don't want them to do it right now. The way that they're doing it right now, they'll ruin it. They will absolutely ruin this
Mhm.
because my mom took lots of comic books away from me because I liked Dracula and I would bite my sisters things like that. But I chase him around and stuff, and I'm like, but I'm a living vampire, But my mom didn't care. She thought it was, I was a sinner or whatever else because I was worshiping the devil, which had nothing to do with any of that. But she didn't read the
No.
comic book, so she didn't understand. But my dad understood because he's the one that introduced me to comics. But the different characters have stories. Okay, they have history. If you just picked up the comic and read it, and you were inspired by it, you can have great stories. And what's funny is, like, even with my own family, they go, how can you like something that's so childish? And I'm like, if you read the story, you would realize it isn't childish. Wolverine's best friend was a creature that people made fun of because he could turn into dust and go from one place to another, Nightcrawler and him have a very special relationship in the comic books. It just, I don't know. It's sad to me that people judge other people that like comic books and read them, and say how immature you are or whatever because you like these stories. But to me, there's so many great heroes in here, and it's the hero, like Daredevil. Okay, a lot of people don't know Daredevil is who he is and what a hero he is and what great things he does, because he's not a person that feeds off of I have to be well known. You know what I mean? Everyone has to know who I am, just like Spider-Man. That's what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man's, because nobody knows what he does, and he's a good person. He doesn't live off the power of knowing I'm who I am. Just like that's why The Boys is a totally different type of comic book, is because most of the heroes in that aren't really heroes. They're dicks, and they just hurt everybody and abuse their power on the normal people that can't fight back. So it's two totally different perspectives, but it depends on what your mood is or what you're looking for at the time to read it for the entertainment purposes of it. And you might connect with one character and then think another character is a total dick, and not like them. And even though they're not real, you can connect them to real people in your life. So it does add texture, your feelings involved and things like that. Because to me, reading a comic book really isn't that much different than reading Game of Thrones or The Song of Fire and Ice or Lord of the Rings. There's still lore in there. It's not as complex. You don't have to have all the extra details in there because it's in pictures. You're seeing it, you're building it up in your imagination. That's why it's powerful to people who love these comic books and who've read them. And that's why it hurts us when we see a person say, well, we're going to make $1 million or millions of dollars off of this story. And then you go to watch it and you want to cry and go home and cry because they took your character and tore him to shreds, because he's not the character that you fell in love with when you read the comic book. And if they would just read them, I just think that the content would be so much better if they actually cared about what they're writing or what they're making. So
yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah,
that's all right. We all have our soapbox.
Oh yeah.
The Batman, for example, that movie, it's like I enjoyed it, but I'm like, well, why did they have to have any kind of political message? Why are they trying to lecture us? Why do I not really care for Catwoman in this? Why is it the way that Bruce Wayne is treating Alfred? Why is Alfred not in this movie enough? I still enjoyed the film, Janet, but it was like, when is this going to end? It need to end here. So I enjoy it, but it's not something I can go back and watch like I can with The Dark Knight. I can watch that 1,000 billion times or whatever and still feel the same way. But the Batman, I'm like, I watched it once, I enjoyed it, but I just don't want to watch it again. And I wish DC would make me feel like that when we watch these movies that we want to watch them over again. I mean, my brother and I, we went to a matinee showing of Birds of Prey, and I did not realize how bad that film was going to be, but it is a dumpster fire. It's horrible how they lecture you and have this whole stupid thing about how the little girl swallows a diamond and she has to go to the bathroom and all this stupid stuff. Like, it's just, it's such a bad movie. And it's like, how can you produce this? And Margot Robbie, I was fine with her as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, but I'm not fine with her in Birds of Prey. That
Mm-mm.
movie is just an absolute dumpster fire, just like 84, just like even stuff like even going back to Green Lantern. I just would like to see like a movie with Jon Stewart, the other Green Lantern, and Hal, and how they can connect these characters, and they miss the point. It's the same, Janet, when you watch stuff on CW. They have some good ideas, then they squander them. Then it becomes a message. Then they're lecturing you again.
Yeah, the same thing though with this whole thing with the penguin. Okay, the series might be really really good. Okay,
Right.
like the first season of Mandalorian,
Right.
I really enjoyed it. Okay,
Mhm.
but when they bring in characters, okay, from the DC universe, right? That the penguin is going to intercept with during the series, you know, through what was it, 8 episodes? Yeah, 8 episodes, right? Well, then they're going to make a movie, right? And then after that movie, they're going to make another series to bring in another movie, because that's basically, if you read the whole article, that's basically kind of what they were hinting at, just like they did when they put in the Disney movie with the Scarlet Witch, her story, you know.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
open
the,
up for
By
the,
having WandaVision being the setup
Right.
for the next Doctor Strange movie, which was Multiverse of Madness.
yes,
Right.
okay. So basically, they're going to do the same thing because they're trying to bring people to HBO, but they got to have entertainment to keep people, the grown-ups, just like I was saying. They make kid movies, and they make them so the kids whine and complain, please take me to see the movie, please, and you have to go. You're the grown-up, so you have to take your kid and sit through the crap. Okay, well, they don't have to do that now. They don't have to have a kid to drag you to see the penguin because it's not a kid oriented movie. So they have to actually do something to attract an attention of an adult that wants to go to sit down and actually sit and watch this, or pay to subscribe, right? So, and if you watch it, let's say you sign up to get your first 2 episodes for free, and then to hook you. Well, what if the first episode's shit? No one's gonna pay to sign up to watch HBO. So they, you know, just like what was it? The Game of Thrones, when it came out, their subscriptions went through the roof. Same thing with Westworld. Okay. So and right now with what, I don't remember what channel it is. I can't remember right the second, for Yellowstone, you know.
Wasn't that Paramount?
Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount.
Yeah,
That's
Paramount.
it. Okay, but the thing is, now Paramount is selling the first one episode at a time to CBS to let them show it first, and then you can sign up and watch the whole season or whatever, one after the other, on Paramount once it's been released on CBS. Okay, see, and now there's 3 more spinoffs coming out off the show. So it's been very successful, and the whole thing is to draw grown-ups in, because Yellowstone is not a kid-oriented show.
No,
it's not
it
a
is
Disney
not.
movie. Okay,
Absolutely not.
so to keep a grown-up watching it, you have to have real content that keeps you enthralled, that makes you want. It's like a soap opera, basically. If you don't want to come back next week because of the cliffhanger that happened last week, then you already lost. You know, you're not going to get more subscribers. So I'm hoping that this whole thing with the new characters and stuff they're going to bring in under the penguin will be good. But that's just like you were saying earlier in the show, when they make a reboot and a reboot and a reboot. So if they set this up right, the next person who's the director of, let's say, the next movie, that maybe there's a character that spins off of this penguin, okay, and they make a movie for this person, as long as they use the same characters that are involved in the series, you see what I mean? It will be more likable, especially if we like the characters, right?
Yes.
And then if they don't, and they bring in all these new people to play all these characters, we're going to go, this is shite. They don't even fit the scenes that we saw already to build us up to it. That'd be like making the Scarlet Witch series and then putting someone else as the Scarlet Witch. You know, that's the kind of dumb stuff, though, that I expect from these people, because to me, they don't seem to really care about what we want. They're just doing it to just get you to pay the subscription price. But people don't, they got to keep us If they want to keep us, they're going to have to give us good entertainment to keep us shilling out our dollars, especially since the economy is just getting worse and worse and worse worldwide.
Right.
And we, the United States, does play a brunt of a lot of these movies and for these subscriptions to keep these people afloat. I think.
Because Resolute Germ puts it here perfectly. A lot of these franchises, a lot of these properties, a lot of these characters, all they are is product. We're going to sell you this product. And we expect you to buy said product just because of the name. Forget about the quality. Buy it because of the name.
Stupid.
Right.
They think you're just going to say, "Oh, we're going to throw these toys out there that this has got the Hulk written on it and this has got Avengers A on it, so they'll buy it." But that's not true. See, that's why they end up with at the dollar store, and you see this pile of all these collectibles. People don't want them because they're shite. There's something that because they don't give us a brain. They think that we're just too stupid and we don't know what we want. But see, we're proving them wrong because their sales are going through the pit. They're going downhill because people are not signing up for their shite.
Right. Well, there's just too many. Yeah, there's too many streaming services, and then you've got Zaslav, and you're just not sure about him. It's like, and then you have all these people. Oh, he's the savior of this. It's like, just calm down. Let's see what happens. And they get rid of. Recently, they got rid of Justice League Unlimited, and they got rid of Justice League season 1 and 2 on the animated shows. And it's like, what? They can't afford them anymore. It's like there has to be content that people pay for, and I've noticed. This is just what I've noticed, Janet, is that I usually find myself watching older stuff on streaming services than a lot of the newer content. I'm sure
I do the same thing.
You feel the same way, Baron and Mike. But it's just crazy. I find myself watching a lot of old content because it's just so dang good. And this newer stuff, unless it's like Squid Game and so on, they don't grab me. With a lot of the newer content. So then they erase the old content, and it's like, well, why do I want to pay for this then? Some services like Spectrum, they have a service where if you pay a certain package, you get HBO Max for free. But why they're taking away stuff that I'll go back and watch over and over and over again. So that sucks. That makes me not want to really watch the service much anymore. And sure, there's some new shows on there, but not that many.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes. I mean, that's why I don't call myself a pop culture crusader, because I don't watch any of the new stuff here.
Right.
There's just nothing about a lot of these shows really grabbed me at all. That's why I love having the Pluto. That's why I love having some of the other services, because they play a lot of the old stuff, and it's great to great to catch up on that, And I mean, the only new thing really I watch is On Patrol Live, on Reels, and just because it's just great watching real-time police action.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Cash, Baron, we watched The Last of Us, the first episode, and we all came out with the same reaction to it. It's watchable, but it's not something we're going to go on top of a hill or on top of a mountain and say, watch The Last of Us at the top of our lungs. No.
It's the same way I feel about Andor. Like Andor there was a nice build up. It's a nice show, and I liked it way better than Kenobi and Book of Boobaloo. But it was compelling drama, and it had some of the better dialogue in Star Wars than I've seen, and I like Cassian. And I always laugh when these critics will come out, some of them, Bounty Into the Comics is one of them, some other sites, and they're like, this is not Star Wars. Why? Because it's a little different. It's still, and Rogue One is some of the best stuff that Disney Lucasfilm has done. I mean, there's actual space battles, unlike the sequels, but I don't want to go into that whole rabbit hole. But I liked Andor, and I know that it makes people upset when you say, oh, it was boring, it was this. Did you really give it a chance? Did you actually think about it, or did you just go along with another echo chamber? Because, there's so many different echo chambers. It's hard to always think for yourself.
Well, And that's my point when it comes right down to it. How much of a real fan are you if you're making that criticism? Because there's many instances where the Star Wars universe dabbled in areas that didn't involve Jedi's, the Force, even the main characters.
Mhm.
And I mean, obviously, not every issue of the original Star Wars run had stuff to do with lightsabers
No.
and the Force. You
Nope.
you were dealing with Han Solo here.
Yep.
You had the daily books, the L with Han Solo. You had the L. Neil Smith Lando series, and we're talking about the early days of Star Wars EU here. So yeah, you can have stories that does not involve around Jedi's, the Force, or even a bloody Skywalker, and it still is real Star Wars. It just
Mhm.
takes place in that universe. It takes with those elements, and
Yep.
those people are makes you wonder what type of fans are they? Are they the new Star Wars Disney fans that expect oh, we gotta have Obi-Wan all the time. We gotta have,
Mhm.
they whip
Right.
themselves over the same old things over and over again. And we do
Yep.
have something that's new, like the Andor. They go, I don't like it because they don't have Obi-Wan.
Well, it's also like, have they played stuff like KOTOR? Have they read stuff like Shadows of the Empire?
Mm-hmm.
Do they understand that, putting all this character development, the reason that it's compelling is because there's a lot going on with the character. They feel
Mm-hmm.
this way, or they like this support, or they love this character, or it's just go on and on and on, instead of just like screaming at the top of their lungs like Riva did. And
Mm-hmm.
at certain points, like that's supposed to be compelling drama, and like for Star Wars, and there's things
No.
to like about Kenobi. I will say that there are things to like about Kenobi, but Riva just didn't click with me, and the way that they did her character, I just like, it wasn't very good with the Inquisitors. Why weren't they intimidating? Like, I want to be I want to be intimidated when I see those Inquisitors, like I
Mm-hmm.
have been in the past in games in this, where they even Fallen Order, like you just see the character and they have the helmet on, or even when they take it off, it's intimidating. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel that, and they don't care about these things. And then the fan projects, they're doing them so much better, and it's just, I would like to see more of that. And when Disney, all the money they have, billions and billions of dollars, they should just be making compelling drama all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But these writers don't care about these things, and so they want to either lecture you, or they don't want to lecture you, and then they want silly jokes like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, hey, the woman, she was in love with a Jawa before, and they're hairy. It's so funny. It's great.
Yeah.
But what's
Yeah.
sad about that is it's not that it's the writers. What they're doing is they're taking, let's say a producer happens to have a kid or a nephew or something that has a comic book, and they're talking to their uncle or whatever. Oh, I love this character, whoever it is, Wonder Man or whatever,
Wonder
and they're
Woman.
going, well, tell me about it, because they're spending
Mhm.
5 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever with their niece or nephew or whatever, and they hear
Yeah.
the story, and then all overnight he's thinking, wow, if he loves it, I'm going to have somebody look in to see how popular this character is, and then 4 or 5 other people go out and look, and they come back and say, oh, it's awesome, because they don't want to disappoint their boss, okay, because they want to
Mm-hmm.
keep their job.
Right.
So you got a
Right.
little bit of intimidation there. So then they go and they get 2 or 3 writers that are already just sitting in a desk writing whatever drivel that they're told to write, not because that
Mm-hmm.
they're passionate about it, but because they're told they have to write something. So then they go on just a little bit here and there that they know, or let's say they get on Google and they look up
Mhm.
2 or 3 characters, and then they write a story about it. Instead of reading the
Yes.
story, they
Exactly.
just
Mm-hmm.
take a little bit here and there that's thrown together online and make a story. That's why there's huge gaps. That's why it ends up being shite. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because there's
Mhm.
no care,
Mhm.
there's no love, there's no feeling whatsoever. Okay,
Yep.
so that's part of the problem. And instead of getting a writer there's tons of writers out there that I tell you right now, there's tons of websites like Script Revolution,
Mhm.
Cover. I can't remember the names of all these, but there's like Coverfly, and they all have writers on them. And these are all original scripts. A lot of them are about their favorite comic book characters and stuff like that. So it's all new material. So if I was a famous producer or whatever, I would have my underlings, if I was that rich, to have people working for me. That'd be awesome. But I'd have them reading those websites. I'd have them
Yes.
say, okay, I'm looking for action, I'm looking for comic romance, and I'm looking for this. Those are my topics. Go in there, find me 7 to 8 scripts for each of those genres. And then they would read it, and then they'd bring it back, and then they'd say this, that, and the other about the stories. Then guess what? We have brand new, fresh material from up and coming new writers that will have an opportunity to maybe make one of theirs into an actual movie that has love behind it because they wrote it from their
Right.
heart or their nightmare or their dream or their romance or whatever it is, or their love for a comic book character. And then guess what? We'll have a really good story. But when you just take a producer that's thinking about, oh, I'm gonna sell Mando toys. That's all he's thinking about. How many Mando toys can we
Yeah.
sell? How many lunchboxes? How many pajamas? See,
Yeah.
and then let's make a script around it. That's it. That's how much
Yep.
thought they're put into it, because that's not what they do for a living. They crunch numbers. They don't
Yeah.
do creative work. So that's why we end up with so much of this shite.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's the same thing with the representation and stuff, like, and even gay and lesbian. It's like the question should always be with any character, doesn't matter what their gender is, their sexual orientation, whatever. That why should we care about this character? Okay, she's a lesbian. Well, who does she love? Why does she love this person? What kind of trauma does she go through? How does she grow from that? Those are
You need
questions.
to know what motivates a character.
Right.
Yes.
That's
And
their
that's-
life story.
Well, yeah, and the thing is that doesn't sell a toy, in their opinion. It's got to be a
Right.
neat little costume. I mean, if you look at the original Star Wars, the main villain was Tarkin. Why? It was the presence. It's how he delivered everything, how he interacted. He even bossed Vader around, but yet he didn't have the big suit like Vader. So that's more imposing. So even with when you had the Inquisitors in the original Star Wars role playing game, you had the High Inquisitor Tremaine. And yeah, I mean, he was a bit imposing with having cybernetic eye parts and such because he was attacked. But as they sat back and said, he was very eloquent. Even when he was out there, trying to get the information out, he would make it seem like he regretted doing it. And it's like, please, it wasn't your typical heavy. But if you turn that into a character, they go, nah, because what presence does he have?
Right.
Well, there's a lot of presence, but it doesn't sell toy because he doesn't look impressive.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care what they look like; it's what they are, and they've that comes down to what the writing is for and character development is. Do they look cool? Okay, look at Phasma. Right. Look how they destroyed that character that had so much potential.
And a lot of potential, and she in the animated show, which I can't think of the name, it started with an R. They actually showed her. Was it Resistance? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Okay. Resistance. Actually, I would say if you want to learn more about her character and how evil the Empire can be, and more intimidating, like they used to be, you watch the Resistance and you find out more about Phasma. It's like, oh, this woman's no joke. But the way they killed her off and the way the writers treated her character in The Last Jedi was messed up. She should have, and especially the way that they killed her off. It just, when you learn more about her from a dang animated show that they couldn't show in the live action, like that's insulting to not only the actress, but
even the first film. What do we do? Well, we'll just throw in a garbage compactor. It's like, come on, this is supposed to be a badass character. It's like she should have been able to get out of that situation with one old man, one failed stormtrooper. I mean, honestly, it's horrible.
It is, and I've said this to you and Cash offline before. I've said it here on Pop Talk before. We shouldn't have to buy a book or watch another TV show to find out more about this character's story. Right. We shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. And all the books and stuff is to continue stories and flesh out characters more, but they've already been developed. You already know where they're coming from.
Well, you can tell they're
Even
making this stuff for normies. They're not making it for us anymore. They're
No.
only looking to cater to getting the normie to buy their T-shirt or their
Right.
whatever to go with it, or to buy the themed package at Disney, so they can get
Because
the
it's
hotel and the whatever else that goes with it.
because it's cool. It's the
Yeah.
flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
even the Penguin series, its sole purpose is to not only set up a Penguin solo film, but also the next Batman movie.
You
Yep.
know, which isn't even part of the DCU proper.
Mm-mm.
But if
This-
they make great entertainment, the people are going to buy the merchandise anyways.
Yeah. But it's kind of hard to get people into a new universe when you're doing a film that's outside of it like this. It's confusing. It's like what's going on here? Why is this different? I mean, that's a fast way to get normies going. What the heck's going on? Even more so when you have the fans going, "What the heck's going on?" It's not the best way to promote your new universes at all.
Mm.
I mean, you can't rely on gimmicks all the time. You have to deliver. You got to put up or shut up.
Yeah, but that's because they rely on gimmicks because they think they know what's best for us, and they think that they know that no matter what, like Fry would always say, "Shut up and take my money."
Right. Yeah.
So basically, they think that we're all Fry running around going, "Shut up and take my money." Give me the iPhone and cram it into your eyeball.
Right.
Because they think that's what we are. They think that we need to be told what's good, that we need to know what's entertaining, and that they're going to give it to us. And you're going to go buy our pajamas because that movie was awesome, and you're going to look at it every night on those sheets. That kind of stuff.
Oh,
That's
I don't
how
know,
we are just stooges. We're just standing around with our wallets wide open, ready to spend our money on whatever gribble they throw in our direction, and they really think that about us. If they didn't, why are they still doing it after all this time?
Well, to be honest with you, I got the underoos, but that's beside the point. But when it comes around to this stuff here, I'm not interested in any of the new stuff really that comes out. There might be something here and there that might grab my interest, but still, when I'm looking around, I'm looking for the older stuff, like on eBay and such, older game system, older games books to fill out my library of my older games that I have for the role playing games, or our books are such. I'm not interested in that new. It's like you've lost me. You're just a gimmick. You don't have any substance. You're soulless. I want some soul behind it, and it's driving me away from the new D&D. I mean, especially with what they're talking about doing with this. Basically it's D&D 6th edition, but D&D 1 that they have, and the abomination it's going to turn into, which is why all of a sudden, what do you know? Pathfinder is selling out big time because of it.
Yeah.
They can't keep up with the orders. Then in some ways, that was kind of the same thing when the 4th edition of D&D came out. That's people, that right there is the most important thing. Yeah, shut up and take my money if it's good.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But see, that's you and me. You and I are going to say, we'll be first in line to say, shut up and take my money if it's a decent product.
Right.
But see, we're not everyone. And what they're not looking at you and me. Okay. They're looking at the normies, the ones that that aren't going to gripe because they didn't make the costumes right, or they didn't do this and that with the characters because they don't know anything. They don't know about it. This is all brand new to them. So when they leave the theater after watching it, they thought it was great because they don't know anything about the characters. Like Captain Marvel. I mean, it was pathetic. At the end of that movie, when Nick Fury was starting to disappear, and you saw his pager hit the ground, and I saw the symbol come up, I just said, I won't even tell you what dirty word I said, but I wasn't really happy about it because I already knew that, everything that people were whispering was true, and I'm screwed. I'm not going to watch that movie.
Oh yeah, I mean Captain Marvel. That's for people with foot fetishes. That's.
Well, the only thing I can say good about that movie is Coulson.
The ending?
And yeah, right. Coulson and some of the 90 references. I wish there was more, but when I first saw that movie, I didn't even know anything about Captain Marvel, and then my friend educated me about it. I was like, oh, good gosh.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, that's just it. The thing is, it is starting to impact now because, like you were saying before, and I've said before, Janet, the economy is changing. We have to start deciding a little bit more what we want with our entertainment. Um, I think in many ways it's becoming a superhero glut. I think the fatigue is starting to get in there, which is probably not a good thing for DC right now, trying to renovate everything. They're kind of
Mm-hmm.
coming in on the tail. I mean, unless they are able to deliver something that's really good, it's like, well, the superhero movies are, I think, going to start getting fatigued, and they can't rely on the cheap gimmicks they use on there because the normies have gotten bored and they've driven the fans away.
yep. But also, it's not just the DC universe or Marvel universe. It's also like The Witcher.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's other shows where you have a strong lead male.
Yes.
Okay. And they're taking them out. I mean, it's just harder. It's getting harder and harder to have, if you have a son,
Mhm.
that you want to let him watch something and have a hero in it.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder to show him something where this is what, in their imagination, the child saying, like me, putting on a cape and running around the house. Now, I was a vampire and I was trying to bite people, but the thing is, I looked up to him because he still did good things in the comic book. And it was fun, it was fun to be Morbius. But a lot of people will look at it differently. That's childish, it's stupid.
Mhm.
Uh, and I hated Morbius because it wasn't like the real Dracula. I'm like, he wasn't Dracula. There's two different people. I mean, he was a
Right.
living vampire. He wasn't dead. He never died. He cured himself of this disease as long as he drinks blood. Well, and he rides on sound waves, and it's a lot different than what people
Mhm.
give it credit for. But if they didn't read the comic books and why he was a nemesis to Spider-Man, things like that, they just don't understand. So, and I'm
Right.
not going to spend hours sitting and talking to someone that's just going to point their finger at me and tell me how stupid I am because I like Dracula. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, whatever, and I leave because there's just some people you just can't explain things to,
Mhm.
and it's, I don't know, it's just frustrating because those people, like the people that for my siblings, pretty much will pay the money, $12-$20 or whatever, to go see a movie that has been stripped completely of what it was when it was in the comic book. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
they'll leave and they say, oh, it was really good, and they'll go buy a t-shirt, or they'll go buy a jogging pants, or whatever, different things, a coffee mug with whatever on it, just simply because they don't know anything about the character. They only know what they were shown in that movie.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
how do
Yeah.
you
Right.
fight that?
They're also saying that men and women can't work together or save the world or whatever, and like one has
Mhm.
to be stronger always than the other. And then like, well, then the argument will be with certain people, maybe more than certain people, is, well, it was like this the way before, where always the man was strong. It's like, did you read the comics? Did you watch some of
No.
the old shows? Did you
Yeah.
understand?
No, they didn't. That's
No, of
that's
course
the
not.
thing.
Yeah.
If they did, they would know that every character in comic book movies, when it comes to a hero, has their journey, and they have their strengths and weaknesses, and you
Mhm.
learn about the character that way
Well, yeah,
through
exactly.
all the trials and tribulations that that character has to go through.
Mhm. Yeah, be it Black Canary, Wonder Woman, Rogue, Storm, uh, uh, what's the Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four. All these
You
people have
Storm.
their yeah, up and downs. Something that knocked them down, they had to build themselves up. They have flaws. We can identify with the characters in that aspect, not by saying, "Oh, that's me," but we can identify.
Firestar. I mean,
Hmm.
there was lots of characters when I was a girl that I read that were, I've never seen any cartoons, or, well, now you got a couple
Hmm.
for the DC. You got some good comic book, comic made cartoons, on TV. But it's just there's plenty. There really is plenty of people and stories and characters to draw from to make new series on TV with. It's just the fact that they're lazy. They don't want to sit down and read anything to find out about any of these other characters. I mean, I think there's 4 or 5 characters they brought in to the X-Men universe that would have made really good stories around some of the other characters, but they chose not to go in that direction for whatever reason. I don't know. But I mean, it's just sad because there's so much potential out there, and they only want this person or that one because they're already famous. See, they want to use the name because they're lazy. They don't want to make a new character, and build that character up like they did in the 50s when they first started bringing out Superman and stuff like that, and Batman, and making them famous.
Well, and that's just the thing, and they also fall into their own lies when they sit back and say, "Well, there was never women heroes," or men were always intimidated by women heroes, and it's like, it's like, and we have to remember, we have to thank what's her name from the Hunger Game movies. I'm glad that she was able
Jennifer
to open
Lawrence.
the way.
Yes,
Thank you. I'm glad she was
the first female superhero. She was the first female YouTuber. She was the first at everything.
And you know what? And so many women out there are so thankful that they had their opportunities. And Sigourney Weaver would never have gotten that part in Alien or Aliens if it wasn't for Jennifer Lawrence.
Yep.
I mean, and that's just it. These people believe their own lies, and they only have a bubble of memory of 10, maybe 20 years. And anything outside of that doesn't exist. And then if it is inside the universe, it's like, let's put the blinders on and keep on believing the lie.
Well, it's like when I was watching Star Trek Discovery the first time, and I saw what was supposed to be the inside of the turbo lift, all its track and everything. I'm thinking, no, the inside of a Federation starship or any starship in the Star Trek universe isn't the TARDIS.
No.
It's not bigger on the inside. And then, a few other things like on Strange New Worlds in that first episode, I watched it with Crit, and I had to turn it off after one of the characters called the communicator a phone. I'm thinking nobody by that time in real Star Trek would be calling a communicator a phone.
No.
They'd be saying, your communicator is going off.
Right. Exactly. And that's just it. I mean, they can only write dialogue of the day. They cannot write a neutral dialogue or a common English, as you might say, which most of the other Star Treks have been written, where they can air it 50 years from now and you would understand completely what everybody is saying. But with all these anachronisms that they have with these new Star Trek series, it's like they get dated fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and you look at everything that's coming out in the last 6-7 years, and it's all dating itself.
Well, and they think they're being cute because of flip phones and stuff like that were inspired from the communicator. So we're going to be cute and call it a phone in Star Trek Discovery. You're not being cute. The joke is old. Go away. It's like it's an older code and it doesn't match. So blow them out of the water. Take out the Tidarium.
Well, that's the thing. They can't write compelling stories like the writers of the original series and up until Enterprise. Yes, there were some good Enterprise episodes. I know a lot of people like to dump on Enterprise, but it did have some good episodes.
It's a good show.
Oh, I'm waiting for Phil McCracken's response.
It's got that guy from Quantum Leap.
I don't care what Phil says. You got Scott Bakula. He's a strong leading character, and he leads. So that's it. That's one of the reasons that show I thought was successful and only went on 4 seasons? 4 seasons.
4 seasons. Yep.
I liked it though, but it was mostly because of him and Connor Trenier and some of the other characters. They were strong characters. It was a good show. I don't care what Phil says.
And he was flawed.
You can't make. You wouldn't be able to make Quantum Leap today.
No.
Like
Wow.
when he woke up that one episode, and he goes in the bathroom and looks in the mirror, and he's got Down syndrome,
Right.
and what he
Yep.
said to himself while he's looking
Yeah.
in the mirror, he could not say. He could
No,
not portray that person today, simply because they've made it to where you can't even. I mean, I went. This is a true thing that happened to me while I was in Arizona. I walking up, and I have a bag in my one arm, but my other arm's free. And there's two people standing there, a man and a woman. And I walk up, and you see them both look at the door and look at me like they want to open the door for me, but they're afraid to, because they're afraid I'm going to go, oh my God, I'm not helpless. I can open the door myself or something. People don't know how to react anymore. They don't know how to interact with each other. I mean, I open doors for guys. If I'm standing there, I open it. And if they say, well, you didn't want the door open, I'd just say, well, too bad. That's what I say. I already opened it. So, but I just deal with it. I just deal with it.
I don't care if it's a man. I don't care if it's a woman. If I'm approaching the door first and someone's behind me, I'll open it and hold it open for them to let them enter first.
And then you slam it on their face, and then you yell at them, right, Mike?
That's how I was raised.
Yeah,
and I'm still going to do it. I don't care what anybody says. I'm still going to do it.
I do it too, unless they're Dutch. If they're Dutch, forget it.
How long ago was it where, I don't remember when it was. I know it was. It didn't seem like it was that long ago, but heck, the years are flying by now. Is when they said, well, you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. You have to say Happy Holidays.
I still say Merry Christmas.
I just accept, because I don't want to hear the nonsense anymore. It's like, Happy Holidays, you filthy animals. No, I'm just kidding. But
where did your testicles go, Cash?
Well, if I drank too much soy, I guess they would probably, something would happen to them, but I don't.
Yeah.
So.
It's not so bad unless you're drinking it right from the teat.
Oh my!
Your green milk, Got to get it right from the teat.
Well, just it's the same thing with Popeye and this and that, and now they want characters to not be as masculine anymore, and they want us to eat this because we have too much rage, or we have too much this. It's just the dumbest things, and a lot of people just go along with it because they're worried about offending people. It's just sad and pathetic. It's the same thing with the whole thing about the door. It's like, if you're going on a date with a woman and she's all like, well, you don't have to open the door for me. It's like, well, okay, you freaking... No, I'm just kidding.
Well, one thing that's funny about that is I've talked to a few people that use a couple of those dating apps or whatever. And one of my girlfriends was saying, it's terrible now. No guy wants to ask me out to dinner. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're not getting any dates? She goes, no, I'm getting date offers, but they all want to take me to coffee because it's cheap. They don't want to spend the money on a meal. And I said, well, then why don't you send them a message and say, hey, let's go have dinner and you pay for yours and I'll pay for mine. But at least you're in a different atmosphere,
right.
That type of thing. If you think that's what it is. And I said, well, maybe they think that it's more appropriate to just take you out for coffee and not dinner because it's less intimate or something. I said, but how are you going to know anything if you don't ask them? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
But another thing that's funny is people are meeting. I know this is off topic, but it popped in my head. I'm sorry. That's what I do for some reason.
That's all right.
We meet someone on Tinder, right?
So...
You sign up for Tinder. And you go out on a hot date, and you go at it in your apartment or whatever, and then you end up having a relationship, even though you started right in the center of a relationship instead of at the beginning, like meeting and getting to know each other first. Okay, you already started off in a real relationship. So then she's in this relationship, and it's been like 3 months or whatever, and she's like, "Oh my God, his birthday's coming up, and I want to get him something." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll buy him some pajamas." And she's like, "Oh my God, that's too personal." You're sleeping with them, but you can't buy them pajamas. I know I said this before, but to me, it doesn't make any sense. See, that's part of the problem with the society the way it is today, is that people aren't getting to be friends with anyone. They're not getting to know each other before they even start a relationship. So they don't even know what they're getting. You know what I mean? I want somebody I can go hiking with, go bike riding with, go fishing with, watch great movies on TV or TV series, read comic books together, that kind of stuff. Why would I meet somebody and then jump in the sack with him and then find out that he's into soy coffee and whatever else because I didn't take 5 minutes to find out who he was. And then I'm going to go, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to myself.
Cash, you're out of running. Sorry.
You regret it because you, I don't know. I just don't understand people.
It's
doesn't make
it's funny
sense.
too because
None
like
of this makes sense.
Tinder doesn't make sense also to me because there's also hookers on there like that. If it's like, oh, I went on a date and then somebody had a hooker, right? Yeah, on both sides, sure.
That's how Cash lost $150 one night.
Right, sure. I remember my friends in college were like, "Oh, Tinder, man! Oh, this girl I went out with in Tinder," and it's like, "Oh, I did swipe right until 10,000 times until I found the right." I'm like, "Was that fun for you? Is that exciting?" And then you hear about there's some situations where people get violent and stuff because you don't know these people.
Right.
Yeah,
you don't know them.
Yeah, I mean that's why guys like taking. Yeah, that's why guys like taking a woman to like a coffee shop or something like that because it's a traditional neutral ground.
Yes,
it's a safe zone for both parties. You have less distractions, so you can pay more attention to each other than everything that's going around. Even for like a dinner, you just order whatever it is, sit and talk, and you learn.
Yeah, but these are the same people that they meet each other for coffee, then they go to lunch, and then they go to dinner. They evolve, and then 2 months later they're living together. That would never happen with me because there's just no way I would do that. That's just too fast. You can't possibly know someone in in a couple months to be able to make those life-changing steps. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just wish people could just look around and absorb information and be friends, make friends. Because if you can't be a friend with someone, how can you be lovers? How can you want to spend the rest of your life with someone when you're not even their friend? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just I got an old soul or something.
It's all right.
Well, it's kind of funny. The long suffering I basically did have a whirlwind. It was a whirlwind affair with us for some reason. Everything clicked. Everything was right. And more importantly, it comes right down to the fact that we like each other. We're friends, even though we have our differences. She likes crochet, and I like all the geek stuff. When it comes around to it, neither one of us understand what the other one's doing, but that's fine. Because it's good,
That's called compromise, Baron.
Well, not only
right?
Yeah, well, it's more than just compromise too. Is you do need to have a wait time from each other now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, now it's been way too long of a wait time with the long suffering, but hopefully that'll change very soon here. But as that goes, it's a very rare thing. It can happen, but like you said, you got to like each other. Eventually sex ends for one fashion or another. Looks change. And if those are the only things that you're looking for a relationship on, boom, you're going to fail. You're going to be failed.
You set yourself up for failure.
Right.
If that's what you're looking for right off the bat, that you want an attraction. I mean, you don't want to look at them and say, "Oh, I want to throw up."
Yeah.
That definitely is not going to work. But if you got a nice smile or nice eyes or broad shoulders or whatever it is that you see that's attractive, and then you find out, oh my God, he likes Superman, or he likes collecting collectibles. Oh my God, I might have hit a gold mine. You're thinking those things in the back of your head. They ride a motorcycle or whatever it is. But the thing is, how do you find out these things if you don't have a conversation?
Right.
Exactly. And if they change the conversation, like it becomes political, it's like, well, how can this date go anywhere if we need to talk about this? Like, this is just it's crazy. And some of my friends told me, some of the people that we know in the community, that they went out on the Hinge or whatever. I think it's called Hinge. Oh, and they go out on these dates, and these women are in their 20s and stuff, and the other guy is about in his early 20s, and the things that they talk about and the attitudes and so on, and they're just and he doesn't like soccer, or or there it would be called football. Like it bothers them, and then it's like, well, why are these people such nimrods? Then seriously, like they go to college, but they don't have a other brain in their head, and they only can think about stuff on TV or the news and so on. Like, come on. And he tells me these things, and I'm like, dude, there's got to be a better source than these apps, because these apps can be a problem. Right. The people you meet there, they're full of themselves, or this or that, whatever.
Well, let's just be honest about it. A lot of these apps are for one thing only: to get laid.
Right.
I mean, they're not there to help build a long-lasting relationship. They're there for a booty call. Maybe a second too, if you were good enough, And and that's for both men and women. I mean, this isn't just a thing where it's just
right. Exactly.
Yeah. Women are. Oh, this is equal opportunity. Let's get laid.
Right, and it's the same thing. You go out on a date. Put on maybe some cologne, wear a nice shirt, comb your hair. If you don't have any hair, maybe shave your head. I don't know, but
that's why you do it. Okay.
I'm not talking about myself, Baron. Don't try to throw me under the bus. I'm gonna find you. No.
You got my address.
Or take them to a good movie.
Exactly.
Go to a good movie.
Enjoy,
right. And then if they seem to enjoy the movie as much as you, then maybe that person's worth having a second date.
I got a hint though. If they're blind, don't take them to the silent film festival. They'll get mad. They really will.
Yeah.
Silent.
Or
Baron.
I hear people saying stuff all the time. They go, "You go to the gym all the time. Do you get hit on a lot at the gym?" And I went, "No." And I go there to work out. I don't put a lot of makeup on. I put my hair up in a bun or a ponytail or scrunchie, and then I put on some. Sometimes I wear the little, pants, stretchy pants, or I always wear some jogging pants and a big baggy shirt. So
calm down, Baron. Calm down.
You see women. I see women there with these skin tight little light pink pants, the see-through pretty much.
Yep.
And then they wear the thong on the outside of it,
Huh? What? Outside?
Yeah, on the outside of their pants. And then they have their makeup's perfect and their hair, and then they never sweat. I see them come in and then
they go to the treadmill.
Anything.
They go to the treadmill.
So
whip your coffee.
They're looking for a guy, and yet nobody really approaches them. I've seen this time and time again before at the gym. It's the funniest thing.
And they're the ones making those little selfies and saying, "Oh, look at that guy! He's staring at my ass." It's like, well, your ass is hanging out. People, I'm even looking at it.
Well, it's like a few weeks ago on.
Showing, it's because I want someone to look at it. You don't show cleavage if you don't want anybody to look at it. It's the same thing with a guy wearing tight pants. He's wearing tight pants because he wants other people to notice he's got a nice butt or whatever. People don't dress like that for no reason.
No,
anyone that says that I do it for myself, then why are you here? Why aren't you at home looking at yourself in the mirror?
There's a lot of people at the gym who just go there and they want that social atmosphere, like going to a club or whatever. But you should also work out too. And the funny thing is, like, if you're taking a yoga class, yes, men can take yoga classes. Oh my gosh. Right. You've never taken a yoga class.
Yeah, I have actually. Really? I have done yoga. I tried that a while back because of my back and all that, and see about getting some stretches, try to help that out. So yeah, I have tried yoga out there, and I look like Lord Crit flopping around. This big orc guy just flopping around on the mat. And, they told me I had to leave because everybody was laughing, but I have legitimately no lie. I have tried yoga, but it was just too painful because of the back injury I had. Where we discovered.
But they tried to help you, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, very, very friendly, warm atmosphere.
It's just, and that's the thing. You go to a yoga class, and that's probably one way you can meet women. But you don't have to be creepy about it. You just say, "Hey, how's it going?" Or could you show me how you do that exercise? People love that. Asking somebody else for advice, of course. If they don't really know you, yeah.
One of the bad things is I always kept on striking out, and I figured out why. My wife was with me all the time.
Baron, sometimes you just
Baron. I didn't even have this ready, and here you go. So,
But no, I mean, a gym and all that was always kind of social and exercise going back ages. And you think about, talk about like the Roman saunas and spas and baths. Everyone starts going, oh, hanky panky. No, it wasn't. It was social as much as it was, gain health and taking care of your body. And even today, still with the Japanese bathhouse with I believe it's Kyoto.
The hot springs or whatever. Oh, Kyoto.
Yeah, Kyoto I think has like the largest amount of the old style bathhouses, where it's just as much of a social as it is for health. And of course, same thing with Iceland. With all the natural springs that they have there too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What does that thing? You have social along with the physical.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could, especially now, blame social media, where we'd rather just communicate on social media instead of face to face.
About something, sure.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do.
Okay, fine. There's my face. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
And you could also play games. Some people would rather just stay inside and play games.
Yeah,
my
but
daughter.
you gotta at least stretch or get some. I don't know. It's just good for the body to get exercise because you sit there too long and you're vegetating.
It's not good for your legs to sit for long periods of time.
You gotta stretch too.
I mean, you may not notice it because you're young, but as you get older, by the time you're in your late 30s and early 40s, you're going to start noticing your knees hurt or your ankles are sore, or your ankles swell up because you're sitting all the time. That's why they're making more and more of these office desks, that stand up, so that you can stand up and be on your computer and everything, because it's to try to get you, to stand up and move around more, because it isn't good for your heart. It's not good for your your blood vessels and all that stuff to just sit there.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. That's why there are a lot of times where I do need to step outside for a little bit and do something. It's like yesterday, I had to remove a part of a tree. So it's like, okay, let's get rid of it.
Really?
Yeah. I've got some limbs that need to be cut down now because there was I'd left, and the evening after I left, there was like a huge snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of down limbs. Well, they're not down; they're just like really hanging down because of all the stress fractures or whatever from having ice and then snow and then more ice on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So once
a
bit more, I'll do it.
I got found. I lived in Texas and was getting regaled with all the woes that they're going through down there. And I feel sorry for them. Not being sarcastic,
I mean, it's no joke with these ice storms that have been rolling through there.
Mm-mm. No. And it's like the second time around. I mean, what was it, last year too? Marina Sirtis was kind enough to show her love about it too.
Oh God! Don't get me started on her.
Why not? Paul's in the shadow.
Oh, I know he likes Deanna Troy. I know. But I have the article here from down in the comics that basically I'm just going to give you the rundown of the article.
Yeah.
And it's saying that the reason why Respawn and EA want to delay the game until the 28th of next month is to polish out some of the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they have their statement here, which says, for the last 3 years, the Jedi team here at Respawn has poured its collective heart and soul into Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we are proud to say the next chapter in that tale of Cal Kestis is, well, basically completed. It also goes on to say that they're focused entirely on the final stage of bug fixes to enhance performance, stability, polish, and most importantly, the player experience. Yet the thing is, and this does happen, Cash and I can attest to this, especially with Gotham Knights. Even after they go through the game to try to get rid of all the bug fixes, there are still bugs in these games that are released now because they don't actually do quality control. They just skim through it, it seems like, and say, okay, it's good enough, release it to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is just my opinion on it.
Well, they're obsessed that we have to get it out on time or else.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me back in the days when you had the between Apple and Windows, and of course Windows were releasing Windows, whether it was ready or not, and incredibly filled with bugs, and you had to have all those updates from Windows itself. Bill Gates spreading viruses. My, isn't that something? But then Apple would have, I can't remember which operating system, and they said they had to delay. They were going to delay the operating system for so long because they were noting issues, and they wanted to make sure the product came out without those problems. And it's like they were getting razzed about it. But my statement is, I like hearing that. I like the fact that, yeah, they will delay a release as long as they can get something out there that's not going to be buggy and causing viruses or such like that, which in many ways that's the reason why Windows had a problem with viruses, because you had all these bugs in there. It just works on those bugs. So, I mean, I hope they're really serious about this with Jedi, that they're actually going through and making sure they have, obviously, nothing is 100% fallible.
No.
But the thing is let's hope that they really nipple out of this in the bud before it gets out there.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll push boundaries more, and you'll be able to do more in this game than you will in the last game. Now, if it's just more of the same, that can be fine, but I would like them to push some more boundaries, especially considering we don't have many Star Wars games still. There's not many. Yes, there was Skywalker Saga, the Lego game. Yeah, it's fun, but it's also barren. It's the worlds are a bit too big, or they cut, or they're just rushing through the prequels and the other ones. It's like, that's lame. And then they have longer stuff for the sequel Lego stuff, and I don't know.
Oh, of course, because that's the only thing they care about. And to be honest with you, I could care less for a Lego game. Being 100%, I'm not interested. I'm sorry, that's me.
I love Lego Batman and all those little Lego games. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
I play for 6 hours or whatever, and then have to go to work or whatever and do some other stuff for 4 or 5 days. And the whole time I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait till I'm done so I can go play again. That is a good game. If you're like Munch's Odyssey, when it came out years ago on the original Xbox, because I had 2 original Xboxes and I loved those games. Absolutely loved them until they both fried to where, and I couldn't find anyone that could fix them anymore. And I had everything. I had the fancy case and the wireless remotes, and I just adored those games. And now I'm trying to play, on my computer.
Yep, you can do emulation. Through
the Xbox setup. Okay, that came with my computer. I got all this stuff that came with it, I guess. And I'm still trying to learn it. But on accident, I started playing that game, Goat Simulator. I love that game. I love that game. It is so much fun. I can't believe that someone actually sat down on purpose to write this game. I just can't get over it. But it is really, really entertaining and fun, because a game that's fun, just like a movie, should take you away from all your problems, make you not think about how many bad, crappy things are happening to you, and you can play it and it takes you away from everything without having to do drugs or shrooms or drink until you can't stand up, those type of things. But I just love it. It's just a wonderful game, and I hope that I can learn to use this new controller that I bought while I was gone, instead of having to try to do it with the keyboard, that I'll even be better at it, and try to figure out some more secrets, because I still haven't figured out how to ride the roller coaster without flying out, a few other things, but I'm working on it. But it is a blast. So anyone who hasn't played that game, you definitely need to try it, at least for, an hour. I'm telling you, you're going to laugh your butt off. It's so fun.
I played the demo and it was fun. And that was a few years back. And yeah, I mean,
Goat Simulator 3 is about to come out, so I'm trying to finish this one that I'm on, because I would love to. I'm going to get it. Definitely going to get it.
It's fun. There's also one about a goose too, Untitled Goose Game, and they made all this money, like just tons and tons of money. And my friend, we've been talking about potentially making a game, and learning the Unreal Engine 5, and he was like, we should make something like Entitled Goose Game, he said, and he's like, that game is stupid. I said, it's stupid, but I can see why people like to play it. You got this ridiculous goose goes around, he steals keys, and he does this. It's just stupid, but
a goose being a goose.
Well, sometimes people don't need. I mean, I loved Blood Rain. I played both Blood Rain games over and over and over again, and I loved it.
They're fun games.
Okay, it was very fun. I loved it. She kicked butt. She was good looking. She had she just had all of it. I mean, she had it all. That game was great. And I love Baldur's Gate. It just different ones. I played bunches of games, but I don't really get into the games where they have machine guns and bombs, and because there's so much of that already, in everyday life. So playing something that takes me, like Dungeons and Dragons. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons live with Bruce Lombardi on his channel, and I'm not very good at it. I'm the youngest player on the team, and I died 2 weeks ago, and they resurrected me yesterday, and we played 6 to 8 hours straight. It's fun. I like it. It takes me away from all my other crap. No laundry, no dishes, no mopping, no writing,
and that's what we want.
Fun,
whether it's games, whether it's TV, whether it's movies, we want that escapism.
That's why I still support the Japanese RPG games, because those are what I grew up with when I was younger, and they can help kids to read, and they can do all kinds of things. They're just awesome, and there's still a good number of quality ones out there, and you get lost in the world, and you enjoy the character development, and you're like, oh man, what's going to happen next? And then the characters die, and you actually like, wow, like they actually made you feel something.
And like then the tentacles come.
What's up?
Then the tentacles come.
The tentacles. But then, and games usually don't make me feel much, but I do probably consider myself a pretty soulless person anyways. But
yeah, I'd confirm that.
Yeah.
Well, I made a post the other day, I guess maybe it was a week or two ago, about movies, about different movies. We were commenting on different scenes from movies that were moved us or whatever. And one of the scenes that I wrote down was when Atreyu's horse got stuck in the bog from the gloom of everybody being sad, and not dreaming, and the nothingness was coming and all that. And it was moving to me. It made me cry. I mean, I had bad dreams and stuff because I felt so bad for Atreyu's horse. And because I had a horse, just like I said earlier. And a lot of people commented on it about how devastating that was in their life to have Atreyu's horse die. So, a simple scene in a movie can cause emotion if it's a good movie.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's
back to
8 years.
That's
8
why
years old in the theater watching Transformers the movie, and yes, Baron, yes, it is sexist. After this scene,
one shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly?
Optimus
Prime time. I'm 8 years old. I'm in the theater and I'm bawling.
Well,
Optimus.
That means you have empathy. That's a good thing. That shows you're not a serial killer.
That's right. Well, yeah, not yet.
That's why Cash doesn't have empathy.
I became I blame most of society for the reason I became
that's what they all say. They all say that.
But things were, like I said, the shows, we were talking about just horses. Seabiscuit, for example, when people are like, "Oh, that's that horse movie, right?" It's more than a horse movie, you morons.
Great movie. It's a great movie.
Please get some perspective on the movie, because you're an idiot if you think it's just a horse movie. You're just, but that still aggravates me when people say that. But
they're just horsing around. That's all.
I'm doing it again. I'm playing that song clip again.
Go.
Thank you very much. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Yes, right. It's always good to tip the waitress. But anyways, no, Seabiscuit was really good, and Secretariat was. It just I like that movie, and that's based on another true story, but
Mm-hmm.
it just didn't gel well as or like Seabiscuit did.
Oh, that
Seabiscuit
was
was
great.
just a really good film, really
Mm-hmm.
good acting. It's based on a true story. It is more than just a horse movie. You've got the friendships, what the trainer went through, and
Mm-hmm.
what the owner went through. It's sad, and it's it makes you happy too. Like that's what a movie's supposed to do. But
Yeah.
something like going back to like the last no, it was the original Walking Dead game with Lee. And
Mhm.
Lee, you have to decide what you're going to do with Lee. Are you going to let him live basically as a zombie, or are you going to have to kill him? And the game is telling you that, spoiler alert, but no, that you have to kill him. And you actually are feeling something because you like
Yeah.
this character so
Mm-hmm.
much. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of games, entertainment in general, they don't make you feel much.
No.
It's really embarrassing. Same with like, I saw as I like to call it, WandaVision of the Madness or whatever. The second Doctor Strange movie. It was not nearly as good as the first film. The first film was very good,
Yeah.
and the second film was like, well, here's Scarlet, and I'm like, okay, Elizabeth Olsen, she's playing this character well, but and there's some cool special effects, but it's becoming more about her story and that she wants to have kids, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Come on. And then America Chavez, like, I just don't care for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If in the title has Doctor Strange, so it should be more about him. Now other people will say, oh, I didn't mind that, like she really wanted kids. It was just stupid. She'll destroy anybody that gets in her way from having kids because this ties into WandaVision. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I just that movie.
Well, what scene really hit me after my dad passed away, and Field of Dreams was always one of my favorite movies to begin with.
Really
But
good film.
watching the scene at the end where Kevin Costner says to his dad, "Hey, Dad, do you want to have a catch?" That hit me after my dad passed away because that was one of the last things he and I did just for fun was have a catch, and it's like I'll never be able to have that moment again.
Right.
I mean, as silly as it sounds, Star Trek 3, when the Enterprise blew up, I mean, because it's like, well, this is that magic carpet that was taking us to all this adventures, and now they blew it up.
Yeah.
It's not there. This is, I mean, yeah, it's a ship, it's a piece of metal, but still, through how
the
many
Enterprise
episodes,
is a character.
yeah,
It's
it's
another
a character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
It's just as much of everything. She's a beautiful lady, and we love her, to quote Kirk.
Yep. You got to have that impact, and I'm hoping a lot of that, actually, some of that, or I should say, some of it comes back where you actually feel that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, that's okay too, as long as you're getting a really fun experience and a good adventure or whatever. You're still feeling something else, but that emotional attachment, like with Lee and I think there was some emotional attachment definitely in the original Last of Us game as well. You felt bad for Joel. You felt bad for him, the things that he was going through.
Well, death now of characters is a gimmick and just overused. It's not a they don't really do a good purpose behind it or something that make you really grab on and be invested in.
Yep.
Especially if it's a good character that has to go. But the thing is, that character's death is important. I mean, look at Obi-Wan in the original Star Wars film.
Right.
He wasn't originally going to die. Marshall Lewis told Lucas, you know what? We need to have something here. And have the character die. That way there's something there. There's something meaningful, and it's not a wasted death. It's like, okay, we're just going to kill this character off just for shock or whatever, and shock and awe or a gimmick, and it doesn't have that impact no more. It's like, okay, that guy's done. I didn't care about him anyway, so what the hell?
Yeah, and that's what's sad is the fact that when someone dies anymore, pretty much in the movies, especially when it's a series of movies, you almost know that they're just killing them off because they don't think they mean anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, we can write this guy out because he's not making us any money.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just I want to say good things about this stuff,
Hmm.
but they've almost made it impossible for us
Yeah.
to say good stuff about
Well,
anything anymore because they've just taken everything and just put it through the shredder. You know?
and and I'm going to say something here. First of all, I want to say spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Anyone who has never
Yep.
seen the series, go away. Babylon
Hold
5.
on, hold.
Okay.
Here we go.
Thank you. And with Babylon 5, right? The first season had Michael O'Hare as a commander, and he was intended to go through the entire 5 series as the commander of the station. Unfortunately, Michael O'Hare had some mental issues and couldn't do the part and stepped down because of it. And then they got Bruce Boxleitner. Well, a major pivotal part of this was the birth of Valen, a mystical figure out of Minbari legend. A Minbari not born of Minbari. Well, if they would have gone through with this, with Michael here doing the part all we do through as Sinclair, they would have just brought in somebody who was just a guest star of the week to play the person who would go back in time and become Valen. Because things didn't go right, J. Michael Straczynski was actually making it able to be more poignant by having Sinclair be the one go back in time because we were already invested in this character. He
Mhm.
was going away. He wasn't dying. One in some ways, he was dead because he died 1,000 years beforehand. But I mean, he's going away. He's going to be a noble. There was something to that leaving that of that character that if it was a guest star of the week, you wouldn't have had. There was nothing invested in,
Because it
and
had weight to it.
there was a lot of weight to that, right? Because a lot of us loved Sinclair too. We just clamoring to have it, and he was able to come back and do that 2-parter, and it gave a satisfactory send off for the character, which made me worry about J. Michael Straczynski saying he wanted to redo Babylon 5 because if he's not willing to do that again like that, you're not going to get the same response, not
That's
at
right.
all.
Mm-mm.
And so it's like here's a mistake, or not a mistake, but the error of life. Things that get in the way of life that could have cogged up the machine, but made the story 1,000 times better. And
Mhm.
why it's still one of my in my top 5-star science fiction television shows. Always will be.
Well, it's like when Jadzia died on Deep Space Nine. I'm sorry, I didn't have any real shock and emotion to her dying. It
No,
it was meaningless.
right. It in some
And
ways
if you say
also.
any oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Janet. You're the guest. You talk.
I was just going to say, if you say anything or you complain that, I wanted to feel sorry for this person when they passed away, but I just never, the character arc never brought me to that point. And you
Mhm.
say that and they say, oh my God, you don't have a soul. They just start attacking you because of your
Mhm.
point of view, because you didn't get into the story the way that they think you should, simply because they tell you to do it
Well,
instead of giving you an actual story arc to make you care about a character in a story.
Mhm.
You see?
Well, another spoiler over here, going with Judge Dredd comics, going back. Well, we're looking at 40, almost 50 years ago here. But there was a character called Judge Giant that Judge Dredd passed him through. He became a full-fledged judge. He was partnered with Judge Dredd and was a popular character. But he was killed by a spy who was poisoning the water, and kind of a you might want to sit back and say an anticlimactic way. And a lot of the fans got all upset about it. They wanted to have the guy go out, blaze of glory or whatever. And even the people who wrote it started saying, "Yeah, maybe we should have too. We made a mistake." And I say, "No, you didn't. This was the best way for this character to go. He didn't go out like a bitch, but it was showing that this is dangerous. He was going through a dangerous situation, and even the littlest things, you can get killed. And the fact that you feel something about his death, especially the way he died, means something. It means you've touched your reader. The people are following the story. And that's where you sit back and go, damn, I did a good job.
Mhm.
And stick to your guns.
Yeah, when people are griping because one of their characters died, that
Mhm.
meant they cared about the character. You know,
Mhm.
they gave a crap because
Right.
you did a good job writing that character to make the people like them. So
Mhm.
when you do get like the Walking Dead comic books when Glenn died,
Mhm.
okay, you cared because he was a good character. People fell in
Mhm.
love with the character. He was an honest, hardworking, lovable character, someone that you could get behind, and
Mhm.
that shows good writing. It shows you a good story. There's
Mhm.
the difference right there. When everybody says, I'd rather have somebody cry when they read my story that somebody passed away or someone died or someone was, crippled or, put in a coma, whatever it is.
Mhm.
You care about the character, then that means you did something right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, these writers also don't care about things like, we'll say, Starfire. Like there was that silly
Mm.
comic, I Am Not Starfire, and people probably just bought it to make fun of it. But
No,
it's an
yeah.
embarrassment. But they
You-
think that she's supposed to be a certain color. Yes, she's orange. She's an
yeah.
alien. Okay,
Yeah.
she's always orange. Hello, people.
Orange
Thank
with bright green eyes.
Mhm. Oh, by the way, the name of the book was "I Am Dumpster Fire." That's the name of the book.
If you don't want to buy my comics, then fine. Okay, cool. So you're
All right, I
gonna have
won't.
crappy
Yeah.
sales. Bye bye, crappy
Yeah.
sales. Yeah.
And then they
Um,
bitch that no one's buying their stuff. Oh, no one's buying our things. Well, make up your mind.
because
Well,
for some reason,
that's just like they said. They gripe that you're not buying it, even though they told you you're a piece of crap because we don't
Mhm.
want you to buy it because you're a piece of crap. So don't buy my stuff. But then when you don't buy it, you're a racist or you're a bigot or whatever it
Right.
is. There's always
Yeah.
some reason why you're not buying it. So it's like just like I said, they want you to walk around with your wallet open and for them to put their hand in it anytime
Mhm.
that they think you're responsible to buy this, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so sickening.
Oh,
but
by the way,
it's just, if you ever watch any of Titans, which Titans had some good stuff going on too with Dick Grayson. He's like
Mhm.
F Batman and so on. It was funny because that I understand how he feels that way, but he was still Robin in this, of course,
Mhm.
because this is Titans. And then they basically Starfire was pretty much a hooker. And it's like, well, how did she come down from the planet? She's a dang alien. And then she has to have a certain skin color. I mean, she's orange. That's what
Yeah.
she is. She should always be orange. She's always
Mhm.
orange. She doesn't just magically go from being black or white or Hispanic or whatever to being orange. She's always orange. Do people
Mhm.
understand that? No. That just still bothers me.
Oh, by the way, I got an idea for you, Cash Money. I want you to make Cocaine Bear Simulator.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
work
go.
on
You
it.
use the Unreal Engine. I want Cocaine Bear Simulator.
That could be a hit game, I guess.
It would be.
It could be.
It would be a $1 million idea. And if I see one of those come out there, I'm going to come after you because we have video evidence here.
I think somebody also has the rights to that, so I think it might be a problem. It's like, oh, hey, I made this game, and yeah, similar to it. Similar, yes,
Yeah.
similar.
It's messed up bear simulator instead. Yeah.
Bear,
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna-
know that Melinda Dillon was born in Arkansas, the same town that Bill Clinton was born in. Hope,
Oh,
Mhm.
a little town too.
good old Billy boy.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name that married Brad Pitt's ex-wife. What was her name?
Yeah, they had some great jokes on Family Guy about Bill Clinton.
What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, Janet, you want me to show this?
I thought guys might get a kick out of that.
Okay.
What do you think of the rainbow
okay.
version? The
All
rainbow
right, well-
version, people.
Okay.
Rainbow Studio. Woohoo! Let's go out
All
and
right.
buy this.
Okay.
All right, let's check it out.
We'll,
You guys are gonna love it.
we'll get back. We'll get back to Melinda in just a
All
bit.
right.
I'm getting ready to be outraged here. I'm about ready to be a snowflake, and I'm getting all ready here.
I bet.
I am outraged.
Believe this stuff, people. See, they want to ruin our guys. They want to ruin our heroes. They don't care. They don't care.
Batman never carried a gun.
He only used a gun once in the comics.
Yeah, it was more.
But the name of it, look, Rainbow Studio Batman. No clothes on. And look at the circle at the bottom. Rainbow colored.
Yeah.
I want to show this to my friend, and she, nothing's wrong with it. I just want her to laugh.
Yeah, he'll put his cape on for you. He's ready to get his back broke.
The dancing bat.
Mountain. Oh, it's pathetic. Telling you, they hate us. They hate our heroes.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely do, because they can't come up with
anything. I'm not saying that he's not attractive like that. I mean, he is, but to me, it's shameful. If I want to take my Batman home and strip his clothes off, that's one thing. But I'm not going to take pictures of him and post it. Did you? Yeah, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it?
You start doing that, then you need help.
I have a Batman, a Superman, a big ones. They're 3 feet tall. That I have. My collection.
Are people actually buying this figure?
I don't know.
Is it like over $200?
I'm going to look at the. I'm going to look at the posts underneath and see. It says right here: pre-order Rainbow Studio new Batman Christian Bale. And someone said, "I'd F it."
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
And then someone said, "Because you're a degenerate." But it's sad. It's so sad that this is our reality, people. This is where we live.
Okay. I mean, I'm saying okay because of some of these comments. It's like, oh god, this is sad. Yeah.
Well, a lot of the comments are not positive on that. Okay, I want my Wonder Woman one. I just want her wearing a skimpy bikini bottom one. Come on.
There you go.
And of course the wrist.
That's not good. Just like the character in Persona. If anyone's ever played the Persona games, probably not. But where they're like, oh, this character, he likes cooking, and they're not allowing him to be gay. It's like, did you write this game? Did you work on this game? No, so shut up.
So I cook. I'm gay. Okay, that explains a lot.
It's just
it's like
things like he has to come to terms with his sexuality, and the game won't let him do it. So then the media, the gamer, and different ones, I'm going to call him out, and I'm going to call him out again and again because IGN the same thing, and I used to do stuff for IGN a few years ago. I always say that, so it's hard for me to always bash on them. I know, right? I have a bit of a bias towards them, but it's the same with people like Greg Miller. Like they've all changed. They've all gone either, woke or not woke, or we'll just say the word pandering. They just, it's embarrassing. It's like, dude, you guys used to stand for something. What are you standing for now? You're just like everyone else.
Why do they stop? That's another thing I don't understand. Why do all of a sudden they're very verbal about something, then all of a sudden they don't say anything anymore? They just
they don't. They throw their friends under the bus because of different opinions. It's just insane. And then people think it's fine with that. It's not. Yeah, it's really pathetic. And they want to change games. They want to do this. And so my big thing now, I feel, I'm going to tell these reviewer game sites, whatever, you guys are so offended by something in a game, why don't you try to make something of your own? See how it goes.
They can't catch that. They have no creative imagination.
No.
Instead of writing these silly articles about like the whole thing about how Amy has to love Sonic, even though Sonic only looks at Amy as a friend.
Well, I mean, like I said, and I'm not joking about it, this is the American Taliban. It's something they don't like. They don't fully understand. They don't want to understand. They want to mock. So instead of doing something and making their own art, they take their hatred and they tear down what's existing. Just look at those giant Buddha statues and all those archaeological items that were in museums that were destroyed by them. It's like they don't build. They tear down. That's what the mindset of these people
But I think
are.
maybe if we push them to be like, look, you guys are always offended by this. Why don't you make something of your own? See how it goes.
We have said that, and we're just told to bugger off.
Then
So-
tell them again, and tell them
No.
again, and maybe it'll stick in their heads.
I'm beyond that. My attitude is no. You bugger off and put somebody in there that can do it.
Yeah.
I don't want
Or-
these people.
Right,
I don't want these people going in there. I don't want to have any validation for these morons.
Yeah,
And Janet,
the
are
thing is,
these
I
from
don't-
your own collection?
Yeah, this is my where I'm sitting right now in my office. I told you
nice,
I
nice.
collect a lot of stuff. I got so much stuff. And I got it in all different rooms of my house.
If you want to collect some cool stuff, you should collect these amiibos. If you get a chance to, Janet, they're really
The
cool.
what?
Amiibos, the ones that Nintendo put out,
Mm.
and you can use them as like downloadable content. Do
Oh,
you own
wow.
a Switch at all, Janet? I don't know.
No, I don't have a Switch.
Because I know you're on Discord. So okay.
Cash gets a cut from each one of those.
You want to know why I first went on Discord?
Why is that?
Years ago in 2016, I signed up for Quid and started buying digital cards, Star Trek, Star Wars,
Yep.
All that stuff. And then they came out with a thing saying, hey, get on Discord. You can trade, and stuff like that with your cards. And this is back when you could buy them with coins, from the app. Well, now you can only sell them for real cash. So
Okay.
I have like complete sets of first edition digital cards, cow and chicken, things like that. I think I got the number 3 set on the whole website for cow and chicken, certain things like that. But I've got number ones, lots of number ones. So I'm like a, whatever you call it, grandmaster collector or whatever you want to call it on Quid. So anyone that's into Quid, let me know if you're interested and need to buy something to up your cards, make them, a better collection or whatever. Cause I have lots and lots of first editions.
Nice.
From all the different cards.
That's excellent.
But that's why I
never heard of
it. But just look it up. It starts with, it's a big purple like thing on it says Quid on it for digital cards. And boy, they've had some sell for $1,200, stuff like that. So
wow.
What cards you got. Because they do a lot of limited ones where they only have like you have to collect all of the cards, and then you get a special drawing or whatever of you got a chance to buy like 20 cards. Okay, one of 20. If you get the whole set, things like that. So that makes it even more rare. And then you might have one that ends up being a shiny card, things like that. It's just like collecting cards, but they're not real. You can't hold them in your hand.
Right.
So,
yeah, I thought that. I spent a little bit of money on that Marvel Snap game, which is pretty fun, and I just enjoy using Professor Xavier to beat people in that game. It's fun.
Yeah.
Some of those card games. They had a Star Wars card game one that you collect cards and upgrade cards, and then of course after like a year, it just died. Disney Interactive killed it. It was so much fun.
They had those Garbage Pail Kid cards.
Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I collect those.
I had almost every single one, and I left them when I moved on accident.
Oh no!
When I wrote back and said, "Hey, can I get those?" They were like, "We can't find anything." So I was heartbroken over it.
Yeah, I would be too.
It would be worth a lot of money right now.
Oh yeah. It would be just like the old Magic cards and other stuff. I wonder if my whole set of Marvel cards that I bought years ago at this dealer's table is worth a lot of money. I don't know.
They
I
are.
have a whole set, and they're still in really good condition. So.
Yeah, you can get on eBay and look up one, or Amazon just to look up one card and see.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what my Battlefield Earth cards are worth now.
Who knows? Those would be good ones too, I think.
That's a joke. I don't think they had cards for that one. That movie was such a turd.
That movie
Hey,
was
it
a
doesn't
joke.
matter how bad the movie is. I'm telling you, they made cards for everything back then.
Yep.
Well, maybe they did have cards. I don't know. I was just being a smart aleck, but it blew up in my face.
Yeah, that movie was bad.
Pops was on that channel one time, and he actually opened up a pack of Tron cards that were released back in 1984.
Tron. Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Old Star Wars cards. It's crazy. All this cool stuff. Yeah. I have still my whole set of old TSR D&D set cards. that I bought years ago. Yeah. The artwork on that are so great. So great.
Yeah.
So, everyone, I think we're going to go ahead and read this article as the last article of today's show. But this is the one I wanted you to read, Baron. And
you want me to read this one? Okay, I got that pulled up here. So,
all right.
So, Melinda Dillon, actress in Close Encounters of the Third Kind and A Christmas Story, passes away at 83. A two-time Oscar nominee, she also appeared in Bound for Glory, Slapshot, and on Broadway in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. This is byline by Mike Barnes, dated, of course, the 3rd, a couple days ago of this month. Melinda Dillon, who received supporting Oscar nominations for her turn in Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Absence of Malice, and portrayed the doting mom in the holiday perennial A Christmas Story, died January 9th, her family announced. She was 83 years old. Right out of the gate, Dillon earned a Tony nomination and Theatre World Award in 1963 for her debut performance on Broadway as a childlike wife, Honey, in the original production of Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Later, the Arkansas native played two characters opposite David Carradine, Woody Guthrie's first wife, Mary, and the dark-haired folk singer named Memphis Sue in the biopic Bound for Glory, directed by Hal Ashby. Was a lesbian hockey wife in George Roy Hill's Slapshot, 1977, and portrayed John Lithgow's wife in the family film Harry and the Hendersons, 1987. Her big screen resume also included Norman Jewison's FIST, or Fist, as the girlfriend/wife of a teamster played by Sylvester Stallone. Barbara Streisand's The Prince of Tides, 1991, as a suicidal sister of Nick Nolte's character, and Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia, 1999, as the wife of a philandering quiz show host, Philip Baker Hall. She was married to late actor Richard Libertini from 1963 until their 1978 divorce, and they had a son. In Steven Spielberg's Close Encounter of the Third Kind, 1977, Dillon portrayed Gillian Gouliar. Gouliar? I don't know how to pronounce that name. My apologies. The single mom who heads to Devil's Tower with utility worker Roy Neary, Richard Dreyfuss, in search of her 3-year-old son who's been abducted by aliens through the kitchen doggy door. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what would. Ashby had recommended her to Spielberg for the part, and she was hired just days before filming began. Sidney Pollack's Absence of Malice, 1981, had her back with Slapshot's co-star Paul Newman, this time playing a Catholic woman who takes her own life after a reporter, Sally Field, writes a story about her abortion. At the Oscars, Dillon lost out to Vanessa Redgrave of Julia in 1978 and to Maureen Stapleton of Reds in 1982. Still, unlike those two, Dillon shows up every holiday season on TV broadcasts as the sweet mother of Ralphie, Peter Billingsley, and Randy, Ian Patella, and wife of Darren McGavin's Old Man Parker in A Christmas Story, 1983, directed by Bob Clark. In the film, Sam Kashner noted in a 2016 article for Vanity Fair, Dillon has a sweetly comedic presence that threatens to dissolve into creative anarchy. She's a vigilant mom, but is still a child at heart. A parent when she encourages her youngest, Randy, a fussy eater, to pretend he's a pig at a trough. Randy really gets into it, snorting and plunging his face into his meatloaf and mashed potatoes, while he and his mom dissolve into fits of laughter. As the New York Times pointed out, the poor woman hadn't had a hot meal for herself in 15 years. Well, that's what the movie pointed out, too.
Yeah.
Melinda Ruth Dillon was born on October 13, 1939, in Hope, Arkansas. Her mother divorced and remarried an Army veteran, and she lived on several military bases, including one in Nuremberg, Germany, before graduating from high school in Chicago. While working as the coat check girl for the Second City, she stepped in for an ill Barbara Harris and performed a skit, setting her acting career in motion. Second City also is where she met Libertini, who was a member of the improv comedy group. There, we'll do it that way. After studying acting at DePaul University, she came to New York and was cast opposite Uta Hagen, Arthur Hill, and George Gizzard in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. However, she left the intense play after 9 months and spent time in a psychiatric hospital. I was in Virginia Woolf and I just went crazy. It was really that simple, she said in a 1976 interview with the New York Times. I think it was the way I was living. The play was so long, and the Actors Union wouldn't let us play a matinee. We had to have a whole different cast for that. But I was called in to do called in to do it many times because the gal would get sick. I would do it 3 hours in the afternoon, then study with Lee Strasberg for 2 hours, and do the play 3 hours at night. Then George Gizzard left to do Hamlet, and a strange thing happened. I had learned to lean on George hard, and I just crumbled inside. I don't know why. I had the American dream to go to New York and study with Lee Strasberg. I guess I just wasn't prepared for it all to happen so quickly in New York. I am not sophisticated. I hadn't had any kind of cultural education at all. So when it came to meeting people and presenting any kind of ideas I might have to offer, I would be terrified. Meanwhile, Sandy Dennis went on to play Honey in Mike Nichols' 1966 film version of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and won an Oscar. Dylan returned to Broadway in 1967, spending 2 seasons in the hit You Know I Can't Hear You When the Water is Running, and in 1970 for a Second City reunion via Paul Sills Story Theater. In between, she made her big screen debut in The April Fools, starring Jack Lemmon, 1969. Dylan went on to appear in other films, including The Muppet Movie, 1979, Songwriter, 1984, Sioux City, 94, Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, 95, How to Make an American Quilt, 95 as well, Reign Over Me, 2007, and she also guest starred on TV shows such as The Jeffersons, Picket Fences, and Heartland. And Matthew Cray of the website Giant Freakin' Robot was the first to report Dylan's death. So at least they gave credit to him. So yes, sad that she went. I didn't realize she was that old. She always seemed so youthful,
Mm-hmm. So. But you talk about her acting resume.
Mm-hmm.
A great resume.
Excellent one. I mean, wow. I mean, and 2 nominees and for the Academy Award. Can you imagine what would happen if she actually did the movie of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Maybe she would have walked away with an Oscar.
It's possible, but even to work with someone like Jack Lemmon, I mean, yes. I'm awake, Phil, jackass.
Yeah, he is flapping his gums pretty good today there, Phil. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's kind of bittersweet being that, of course, we had the Christmas Story Christmas that came out. Which was, like I said, a perfect bookend. It was sad that she didn't play in there, and probably this is the reason why. 83, I think she was retired, and I don't think she was in that good of health to do it, sadly. Because it was still a physically demanding role.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm. And Mary Steenburgen did do a good job. Not Mary Steenburgen, I'm sorry. Julie Haggerty did a wonderful job doing that. So
yes, she did. Mm-hmm. They even tried to get her to look as close to Linda Dillon as they could.
Yeah, they did. So, and while still making her own part, but it was still that nod to her, So yeah, it was, So yeah, I know. I saw that the other day, and that's the first thing I thought was A Christmas Story, Christmas, and all that. She'll be immortalized for that. Honestly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Close Encounters of the Third Kind was a powerful enough movie, but I mean, really, Christmas Story is just, shine.
You
It
guys
should have been done.
imagine what they would be like if they remade both those movies?
Well, I mean, Jan, you brought up Quantum Leap. I mean, they made a remake series of that, and the guy is whatever. I don't know. There's some politics in there. It's just funny, and for some reason, that got a second season, but it'll never be as good as the first one. Doesn't
No.
matter. It's just lazy. It's the same thing. Magnum PI. Why do we need that? We don't
No.
need this stuff. Why did we need
Because they don't have any writers to
Yeah,
write
they
new
just
material.
they're like,
They're
let's
just
go
busy
and
writing what they already own.
Yep. It's just sad, and they don't even want to try it. It's like, look, even if you fail, if something else good might come out of it, but they just don't even want to do that. So West Side Story is remade. Fine, some people liked it, some people didn't. It was up for Best Picture last year. It's just to me, it's just lazy, and
It is lazy.
just try. If you fail, it's okay. Something else will come out of it, and then something else can build from there. But they don't even want to try.
A Christmas Story is a perfect example of a failure that's now a cultural phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
That happens.
The first
too.
Austin Powers was a failure, and it's because it was shown, not on TV, but video rentals. I know we don't have video stores anymore, but video rentals are what propelled Austin Powers to the eventual home video hit it became, and that's what we got: The Spy Who Shagged Me and Goldmember.
Look at Casino Royale, the comedy one. People were like, "This is not like the Ian Fleming book." My dad told me about this whole story. It was very interesting, and then now it's a cult classic or whatever.
Right. Oh, exactly. And of course, we brought up Tron. That's a cult classic. Highlander. I mean, you have
so yes.
So you have these movies where they did take a chance, and Melinda Dillon was part of that. Graduating class in that area, that where the film, it didn't do good. They took a chance on it, but it caught on, and it's just on fire. And that's what the studio sometimes has to look at. It's like, it's not the immediate amount of money, because you're not necessarily going to get as much of return on investment as it goes along through the ages. People are still constantly buying Christmas Story stuff, including the movie. After it's been out there.
I don't know. I didn't really get into it all. Maybe I need to watch it again. It's been a long time. So
for shame, Cash. For
shame.
I
know,
yeah, but... Scrooge money. But that's just it. That's what studios sometimes need to look at. It's like, we might not get an immediate return, but the long run is there's potential. And
I mean, they made things work. Look at He-Man, and look at what they did. They took He-Man. They said, you know what? How can we improve this? Well, they made the 2002 series. So they took what they did in the 80s, or I think it was only in the 80s. I think for the first series. I don't think it went in the 90s.
It's actually 40 years old this year for the series.
Thank you. Thanks.
Absolutely insane.
What?
And but they made the 2002 He-Man series, and they took it to they made even better art. Like, I love the art from the 80s. There's a lot of passion and love in there. But even the 2002, because as technology improves, and then they decided, of course, they had really good art, but they had problems with the story, and it became more about Tila. But same with Voltron. Voltron has been remade. They had the 3D one, which was pretty good, and but now they have they've made some changes. Keith is gay for some reason. I don't know. I thought he was in love with the princess, just like Lance, but Lance is in love with the princess. Like, these things are just so ridiculous. And they just keep changing this stuff instead of, what, why don't we make a new space series with robots and see what we can do with it?
Right.
There's other ones out there.
That reminded me of one. Did you guys watch Mother?
I've heard of it.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it had a lot of things in it that I thought was pushing you towards an agenda, but it wasn't so overwhelming that it took me pushed me away from it. So it wasn't too bad.
And my thanks to you, Mike, was just reminding me how old I am when you're saying 40 years ago.
Okay. And how old do you think I am? I'm going to be 45 in April.
Well, I'll be 55 in September. I'll be more than happy to have those 10 years back. But in all seriousness, with this too, with again, look at He-Man too. Remember, here you have a guy going around with what looks like a fur loincloth and
Yes.
just the thing to hold the sword on, and everything else. He's buff running around. We didn't hear anything about body. First of all, man running around looking like that with hardly any clothes on, and all those muscles. How that was making us feel insecure.
Conan was like that, and in the comic books, and nobody griped and complained about it because there was nothing wrong with a man or a woman if they're muscular and that's their costume.
Right.
I don't know.
A lot of that came from Frank Frazetta because of his artwork that he did for like the book covers of Conan and such. Because he loved the human body. And
but right today, like those pictures I just sent, it's got Superman and Batman, and they're wearing full costumes, but they have muscles. You can see them through their costume. And why is that bad? Why is it bad to see the female form or male form in a costume that's snug? I mean, why is that so? I don't understand.
It's not, but they go on to this whole thing about how they didn't like him in leotards. I had this whole conversation before, Janet, with one of my friends, and we're working on a project together, and she was like, every time I was reading comics growing up, this is, I'm not going to say who this person is because I'm not trying to throw her under the bus. She is a good person, but some of her opinions, I just go, well, that they all look slutty and all the women look slutty. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, they looked awesome. And they didn't all just have, and superheroes wore tights, even women. What?
Yeah, oh Superman wears underwear on the outside of his tights. Come on. But I still thought he was a superhero. I didn't look at him and say, oh my God, he's wearing his underwear on the outside of his tights. It was a uniform. That's how I looked at it. But I guess maybe because I grew up and my dad was in the Air Force and everyone wore uniforms. I mean, you have UPS, you have the Postal Service, you have firemen, you have paramedics, you have, police officers. Everyone wears uniforms. Some people even wear uniforms to work. But there's nothing wrong with wearing a uniform to show who you are or who you represent. So I don't know. That's why I loved X-Men. I loved that they wore Wolverine wore yellow spandex. I mean, I have a comic book that I took to get autographed at WizardCon. It's a 4-series comic books, and on the cover of one of them is Wolverine in his brown uniform.
Nice. Oh, the one he wore for the Avengers. Yes.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't understand why people get upset about stuff like that. To me, all it is showing, it's signifying what side they're on. It's just like if you go to war, you got 2 different sets of uniforms on the people, so that they're not out there killing each other, thinking that the other one's the wrong guy. There's a reason why you wear a uniform.
It's the same thing with stuff like Mortal Kombat. Like, it was over sexualized, and it was just funny how it was, but the characters look cool, and then they want to change Sonya, and they want to change, something's wrong with that, and then this whole, it seems like there's always a campaign erasing people too. Like, we don't need redheads. Like, Marigold in The Witcher is a very strong wizard, a sorcerer, and she does not take people's crap ever. And if you ever played any of the Witcher games, 1, 2, and, they decided, well, to race swap her, fine, whatever. But what's wrong with her being white? And Polish people wrote these. It's just, and so Henry Cavill, he made a quality, from what I had seen, I've watched some episodes of The Witcher. He made a quality Geralt, but he was only really the best thing. They changed some things, and they have somewhat of an agenda. People are like, oh, this show's so great. But if you've played the games, then people, I think, would realize more that they're changing things, and it's not for the better. Certain things.
No,
Geralt
it
was
took
fine.
me a while to like his character in the Witcher movie because
Right.
all I could see was Superman. You know what I mean? And with
Right.
dark hair, to see him with
Yeah.
white hair and everything, and to accept
Yep.
him as something different, it was a little bit tough. But after 3 episodes, I was like, he's doing a damn good job. He's very believable, and I like him. It's the same thing with Hugh Jackman. When I first found out Hugh Jackman was picked to be Wolverine, I'm like, what? He's too tall. You know, he's not freaking hairy and short and stocky, you know. That's not Wolverine. And I was real happy about it. But then when I went to see it, even though, you know, it was against my better judgment to go see it, I went to see it because my sisters dragged me there and said, oh, it's going to be so good. And I watched it, and I could see the work that Hugh Jackman was doing to try to portray his view of Wolverine by saying bub, you know, this little things that he did to make me believe that he could be Wolverine for this movie. Yeah, I can accept him. Just like Nightcrawler and some of the other characters. The Dark Phoenix. I mean, it took me a little bit to accept these people, but when I saw that they tried to portray them the best they could, it was easier for me to accept other little things that I didn't like about it. But that's the thing. If you want to get anything good out of it, you have to remember that it's not made by you. It's made by other people that see it a little different than you. But at least they try to stick to the story. And that's what I try to focus on. I try to stick, okay, how well did they portray my character, the person that I remember reading in a comic book? Just like Deadpool, you know.
It's a translation.
Yeah, and Deadpool too, though, they had like some really good stuff with Cable and Deadpool, but then they had this kid, he's got these powers, and in the second Deadpool movie, I'm like, this is weak. I like a better villain because they had some good stuff, especially his team where they pretty much almost just about all die except one of them. That was so funny. In the second Deadpool movie, they just did that so well. It's like, all right, guys, we're going to do it. Oh,
spoiler.
No spoiler warning this time. That movie spit out a lot of stuff.
Josh Brolin was playing Cable so well, and then of course you got Ryan Reynolds, which I don't think anyone else could play Deadpool like he can. He's just his attitude and the style and what he brings to the character, and they had that going, and that's why I'm like, well, this Deadpool 2 movie's pretty good, but if we're gonna do now a third one, we're gonna have we're gonna put Wolverine and Deadpool. This movie needs to rock. Like Disney needs to blow this out of the park. This needs to be a big time home run because if it's
I think as long as Ryan Reynolds is at the helm, portraying the character, and Hugh Jackman has got a little more wimpy now. I mean, he's limp-wristed when it comes to a few things. So if they let Ryan Reynolds take the reins like he has done to first bring us the very first Deadpool, the work that he had to go through to resurrect the Deadpool that they ruined in the Wolverine movie, you know, to make him the real Deadpool, basically, from what I can see in the movie world. I think that it should be pretty good. I mean, it might have a few lame things in it because he has to settle for this, that, and the other, because I don't even think he has to settle now because he's already proven that Deadpool can make bank. Okay. And that's all he needs to get the producers and the people to, you know, put up the money. So I don't
let him be as politically incorrect as possible, and they just need to. That's it's under Disney.
That's who he is, though. That is who Deadpool is.
Yes, he is. He says inappropriate things, and he doesn't care.
Right.
He's just, and I didn't even know much about Deadpool because
he knows he's a comic book character. He knows you're reading his story. He talks to you while you're reading his story.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah,
just like She-Hulk did originally too. She-Hulk did the same thing.
Yep. So, and if they ever make a game on Deadpool again, they could have what's his name from Uncharted.
How cool is that going to be to have him talking to you about why in the hell did you do that? You know what I mean? That's going to be good.
Yeah, they just got to push it to a limit. I know they they did a good job with that Guardians game. At some point, I'll play that. I know Whoopa played that. Whoopa's probably around.
Yeah, he was streaming it for a while. And...
they're just missed opportunities. There's missed opportunities in games. There's missed opportunities in these movies. They do things well, and then the second film comes out. You go, why did you guys do that? Don't you care more? And so, it just goes back to the whole thing of the wheel and everything else. But Logan, I would recommend that movie to a lot of people. Logan was very good.
Same here.
And
I enjoyed it.
It was
Me
sad
too. I
how
liked
things
it.
played out, but it made sense. It just made sense. Logan was very good. And being rated R, it worked very well for a character like Logan. Then you had stuff like X2. That was a really good film. And then you have stuff that other things like Elektra. That movie was bad. Then you have stuff like the first Daredevil movie, which they did follow things from the comics, but nothing can touch the series. The series took it to a whole new level of Daredevil. And then the first Deadpool movie, like, they can do these things well, but also I think take a break for a few years and then come back, get some more writers, bring in some other people, and so we can get stuff to look forward to, like Winter Soldier, which Winter Soldier actually connected into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and brought in the Hydra and made the show way better. It was awesome.
Hydra.
Yep.
Yes, Bear. We know you're a secret agent of Hydra.
Hail Lobster.
Yeah. So
that's for Jordan.
Wait. I thought it was Hail Orca.
Yeah. Oh no.
That's no.
No, we do not need that. And that was another movie that's politically incorrect, and for good reason. It's a quite an enjoyable film. So if they're doing that, they're going to throw some bullshit in there, most likely, or just don't do it.
Yeah.
Do we want to remake of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Absolutely not.
No.
It's silly.
It wouldn't work. First of all,
no,
you wouldn't have Steve Martin or John Candy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and John, you don't know John Hughes.
Yep.
No.
We're going to get a fourth Beverly Hills Cop movie. How is that going to turn out? Are they going to woke it? Are they going to pander and stuff like what happened with Coming to America 2? I just Coming to America is such a funny movie, but it's a good film. It has some good values to it.
I liked it.
It had Louis Anderson in it.
Louis Anderson was he's passed now, unfortunately, and
I know.
Yeah, see, I got a 6 foot tall Hugh Jackman stapled to my wall.
Goodness. Yeah.
And that's one of my lithographs pages up there, and then I got other autograph pictures everywhere. But that's right above my monitor where I'm sitting.
Oh my.
So it's packed. My room is packed.
Shuffle up and deal. World Poker Tour.
Shut up and deal. Yeah, I play Texas Hold'em. I've won a couple of tournaments at local casinos. So.
Oh, lucky you!
I love Texas Hold'em.
Oh, me too. I love Texas Hold'em. I knew you were a classy lady. I knew it.
When I say I like this stuff, I really like this stuff.
I mean, look how awesome.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You got Captain America in there, and you got Wolverine in his awesome yellow and blue outfit.
Yeah, it's mostly all Wolverine, but there is a Captain America here and there crammed in there.
Awesome.
I love the 2022 Elvis too that you got there.
Yeah, it's an autograph lithograph. When the last time I went to
that's cool.
Wizard Con, and then I've got a few things here and there autographed at Comic-Con, but I've got almost the first 2 years of Wolverine, the Wolverine comic books autographed by either the cartoonist or the writer or the other.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, though, he's started becoming a bit woke there, unfortunately.
That's why I said he's like limp-wristed right now.
Some people have started calling him Soyverine.
Yeah, it's pitiful. And I put some bad tweets out.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah, I wonder.
But I did like him there for a long time. And I
I'm
try not to think about
you got to
it.
separate the politics from the actor.
Well, they don't.
If you
So
can,
why
I
do
know
we
they
have to
don't.
do it when they don't do it?
That is true.
Yeah,
So,
she's got a point.
True.
you know what I
You
mean?
got a point there, Cash.
Yeah.
That's
We tried
exactly how I
to,
feel
but you're
about it.
right. It's a mess. Well, it's the same with people like Mark Hamill. Like, you can thank him for all the entertainment he's given you over the years, especially with the Joker and other voices he's done, and Luke Skywalker. But it's just like, their
Well, what
politics?
about J.K. Rowling?
Yeah, I know. They say she says one thing, and she's like a lot of them. She says one thing that the drones basically don't like, and it's curtains. It's
Yeah,
curtains.
they chucked her under the bus.
They
Backed
definitely
over her.
did. They ran over her about 5,000 different times. Yep.
Except for
Still
one
running
thing,
over her.
it's not. The thing is, it's not working though.
No, it's failing big time.
Big time, because enough people are going, oh, come on here. I mean, I don't
People
think
are waking up, and once your
Mhm.
eyes are open, it's harder to close them back up again and go back into the matrix.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office?
I don't know. They just followed me, so I was just checking them out.
Oh,
I was wondering, is there something that we need to know about criminal, or it's like, am I on that list? Am I on that list?
Always, Aaron, always.
Nah, they just followed me, so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out live. Just to see what it's all about.
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
You're a brave
I
man.
know.
But
brave or incredibly stupid.
Both.
Take a break from this, and that's why you look at these fan projects and you're like, my gosh, why are these people not hired? It's so, and then the Warner Brothers and whatever, they're like, oh, what are they doing with our property? We're gonna copyright strike them. Yeah, that'll show them. Like, it's just so stupid.
I mean, everybody's discussed it. These companies handing down copyright claims and strikes.
Yes.
This is free advertising for your movie.
Yes,
but no,
it is.
if you
Yes,
show
it is.
more than 30 seconds of a clip.
Yep. I know.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Well, that's because these legal people are morons.
They are. So they could take a break from this. They could try other things. They could combine other stuff. Even if they wanted to do a Deus Ex story where they talk about what would happen with people who feel, if you have this kind of machinery in you that you feel you're almost like a Superman type people, and then people who reject this because they think it's against God and stuff. Like, that would be really interesting. And we've had some of that before, but they could talk about it through the eyes of Deus Ex or whatever. But, they won't do this stuff, unfortunately.
So there is something that Crit sent me.
no.
I will probably have to, pause it every now and then just to avoid any copyright claim or copyright strike.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
But
it's not whale song again, is it?
I think this is a good way to end the show.
And before I think, I wanted to ask you, Janet, what do you think about, look at how cheesy a lot of these love stories are. Remember when you had stuff like Pretty Woman, for example? Why is Pretty Woman still liked by so many people? Because it has a good story. It's not about her just being a hooker. It's the way things play out. It's the way they care about each other. And I don't know about you, Janet, but I haven't really seen in a long time any really romantic story that isn't usually cheesy or some nonsense.
Well, The Kingdom. Did you watch the Kingdom TV series?
No, I haven't watched that.
Okay, well, there is some good romantic stories out there. If you're able to find them, The thing is, just like in Pretty Woman, she was basically a prostitute by selling her body, but he took companies and sold them and tore them to bits.
Right.
Sold people's souls and their livelihoods. So he was basically a prostitute himself, basically. So basically, there were two people that were, floundering in life by themselves and looking for something to fill the gap, to become human again, to ground them, basically. And they happened to pull it off. And because of the acting abilities of both the characters, they were able to make them believable.
Well, they had
like
quality
him and
supporting
Officer
characters
Dillon,
too.
did the same thing. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, look at this. Cash is trying to get in touch with his feminine side.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, maybe I should
No, I'm just
expel him from the panel.
Where's my bat? Where's my
Do it.
Oh, no, he's Harley Quinn now. Okay.
You've got a bat. I'll raise you another one. My own. But before we show this clip that Crit sent me, Janet, is there anything that you'd like to promote?
No. I don't even tell people to subscribe or anything on any of my shows or anything, because I just think if they're interested, they'll subscribe. But the thing is, my channel, I mostly do shorts. I do stuff about working out, be taking care of yourself, mind, body, and soul. I try to. I have jokes. I have pickup lines, and I'm reading my story that I've written. It's on Booksy, and I have the link in all my different live streams that I've done to that. And then on Monday nights, I do movie reviews with Bruce Lombardi of Dick's Division on his YouTube channel. And on Tuesday nights, usually, it's been kind of hectic the last month, I do the United Resistance, was a political leaning show on a Supreme Heretics channel, Drew Taylor's channel. And then Saturday, I've done a couple of shows on Tokyo Trekkers channel, talking about just, stuff, with Star Trek or different things like that. So that's basically what I've been doing, and I've been guests on a bunch of other shows, but it's fun, but basically that's what I'm doing. But thank you for having me again. It was fun. I love to talk, as you can tell.
Oh, we love it. We love it.
It's no problem. I love having you here, and
I
I'm
never run out of
that
something to talk about.
I can be more rested up for the Kings now. I don't have to talk so much here, so
Oh, well, good.
But no. But no, seriously, no. Thank you so much for putting up with all of this here. And
it was wonderful. I loved it. Everything you talked about, and I know I brought up a couple of things that were kind of spicy, but it all really goes together. All about how we perceive things and how we are perceived by others, and that if everyone would just not be ashamed to be themselves, be if you're a nerd, be a nerd. If you're a geek, be a geek. If you're a truck driver, be a truck driver. We need truck drivers. We need all these people to do the things we got to do to be able to survive. I mean, to be able to go to the store, the shop, go to your job, go to the gas station, all the different things that we all do. It's all important because we need it to live.
Exactly.
So
and
we
can
need
be as spicy as you want,
whether we want to believe it or not.
Yeah, we do. You're absolutely right. We do all need each other. And as I always sat back and said, whether it's between the genders or even ethnicities, each one has a weakness and each one has a strength. And it doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It just means that we have to work together.
That's right.
And that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Isn't that what true diversity is? Not being drones or clones or copycats. Then what's the purpose of it all?
Our DNA proves that we're all individuals, period. So
exactly,
we're made that way for a reason.
And and you have to be strong enough and brave enough to appreciate other people's differences and learn something off it, even if you don't necessarily agree with it.
That's right.
I mean, you can. You should always love your fellow man, fellow person, and he is, yes, he is. But doesn't mean you have to like them. But at least love them out there, which means that you don't want to wish ill to them. And that's my philosophy, except for Cash and Crit.
Well, anybody can say whatever they want.
Baron.
You just don't have
and
to
Mike,
listen to them.
Did you put the? I saw Baron's Nightbot feature. Did you feature mine?
Yeah.
The Bulligan? The Bulligan. Well, you know what?
Somebody's needy. Somebody is very needy.
Well,
just had to throw that in there. I'm like, wait, did I see Baron?
He saw
There you go.
I had to do it, Mike. It was just too easy.
It says hooligans in there. He's not used to that. He's used to hearing bulligans. So.
I should change that to the Bulligans.
I think so. You should do that.
I just had to do it. It's great.
But I think though, if we had a vote here between all three of us, it'll be unanimous. We'd love to have you come back again, Janet.
Yes,
And be as spicy as you want.
As a matter of fact, Janet, since you are a collector,
Ooh.
I'd like to personally invite you to the collector stream I'm having on the 15th of this month at 6 p.m.
Okay, will you send me a DM either on any of the things, Discord or Twitter or whatever? I'd be
Are you
happy
pretty
to.
active on Discord, Janet? Or
Yes, I have my own server on there. I've got music and videos and crafting, everything on there.
Cool. I got to hunt you down on Discord now.
Yeah, I can send you my.
Wait a minute. Is this taken? Is this taken, Baron? I'm gonna hunt you down.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna hunt you down. Are you scared now, Clarice? No, I'm.
Yes, they're scared of you. We told you we're gonna put you
I'm
back
harmless.
in the cage, Baron.
I am harmless. I'm harmless. The long suffering keeps me in line.
We're gonna throw you a little bit of food there and stuff.
I need some food. Yeah. I need a Snickers. Give me a Snickers. That's what I need.
Probably do.
I actually do have a Snickers in the fridge.
Well, send it to me.
Send him a Snickers.
And I do want to say hello to Leia Rose.
Hi,
welcome, Leia Rose.
But I had to do a shameless plug because other people in our community have done one, so I just had to. Mike,
you have a channel?
Wait.
I know
he has a channel, but he's only done one live stream in a month.
It's got some work to do.
I can't say anything. I can't say anything. I'm
can't,
worse.
Baron.
I'm worse. Wait. I got going.
You still had a live stream, remember the co-live stream we did back in December?
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
You had two of them. You had two more live streams than Cash Money.
Thanks for saving me there. Thank you. So
I guess we saved him for this time.
Yeah, this time, Cash. Yeah. So, don't you forget it. See what you have to put up with your guests.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to Black Dragon. I just saw something in the chat. He said, yes, enjoyed listening to Janet's point of view. Yay! Thank you.
That's what Pop Talk's about. Getting
awesome.
Different points of view.
Thank you so much.
Baron has his take on things. Cash has his take on things. I have my take on things. And I like having people here to hear another point of view.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
But of course, I'm always right.
Shut up,
Baron. I haven't done this all stream. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it.
Okay.
Do you really want me to do it?
No. I want to behave. I'm behaving now.
All right.
I'm behaving.
But since you are on the spotlight now, is there anything you want to promote?
Me?
Yes,
of course,
yes.
5 o'clock today, Central Standard Time, 6 Eastern. You got the Primetime Kings at 24/7 Fusion Media. I invite everybody to come over there, and you never know what to expect there. Wednesday, of course, I'm with my co-host here, and the main man himself, Mike, PACIFIC414 for Pop Talk then, and hopefully Cash will be there. And that's about the only things that come up to the top of my pointed little skull right now to promote.
All right. And Cash, is there anything you'd like to promote?
Yep. I just gotta get that Saints Row thing. This time, gonna try it again because the last time I had to delete the channel because it was just like an echo. It's like I was at the top of a mountain. I was screaming and nobody was hearing, or some people were. So I'm gonna have to try Saints Row 2 again. Exactly.
What? What? I think I have a clip for that.
I was gonna say, what are you doing?
I don't know. I can't even say I'm out of practice, but
what?
I hear you really good this whole episode.
I'm glad. So hopefully this time everything will go fine, and there'll be mayhem with Saints Row 2, and hopefully the game will work. And as Phil McCracken told me, that if it doesn't work, then start the game again and see how it goes.
All right. And I do want to let everybody know, as I had said near the end of Wednesday's show, I would announce when the next open panel is going to be for Pop Talk, and that will be this Wednesday. Wednesday the 8th at 6 p.m. Eastern will be the first open panel of the month. And I invite anybody who is interested in coming on the panel and giving their points of view on any article or any topic that we're discussing. Well, you're more than welcome to come on. And then next Sunday on Pacific 414 Pop Talk, I am happy to announce that Ryan Roger Athay will be the guest.
Huzzah!
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is, he's great. He's an awesome dude. I mean, promoting different channels, talking about different channels, and even talking with the creators. I mean, he's doing a good service for everybody here on the platform.
And he has a nice accent.
Oh, yeah. He's insane.
And
we like him. He fits in good here.
Then, of course, on the 15th of this month at 6 p.m. Eastern will be the third collector stream. I do have guests lined up. As you know, I've already invited Janet, and my other guests that I have invited are, of course, DJ Ronnie G. I've also invited Troy Pacelli to be a guest, and also Pops. Now, at the time I'm saying this, everybody has accepted. We all know things can change, so if anything changes, I will keep everybody updated. Just look at the Discord, in the Motor Mouth section of the Discord, or on Twitter, and I will keep everybody updated. But yes, we will have the third collector stream, and I'm looking forward to it. So, to leave us off here, and again, like I said, I'm going to probably have to pause this to avoid any copyright claim or strike. But Crit sent this to me, and I think it's funny. I'm going to turn up the volume so everybody can hear it.
Okay.
And
is it
here
good?
we go.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
It's from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
When Saturday Night Live was good.
Okay. Phil song.
Welcome to All Things Scottish. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Can I help you?
No, son, but I can help you.
Who are you?
I'm Phil McCracken, Scottish therapist.
He's Phil McCracken, Scottish therapist. If you got Scottish issues, he's your shrink. So see Phil McCracken to fill those cracks in. But if he doesn't help you, go have a drink.
Is this for real? Or is this
it was an actual...
No, it was really on the show.
Actual sketch on Saturday Night Live back when it was good.
Good. Yeah, well, obviously Mike Myers is on there. Who would have...
Wayne's World.
Wow. And guess who's playing Phil McCracken?
His favorite person in the world.
And what does his favorite person in the world have to say thanks to Voice AI?
This is Patrick Stewart, and I wish to tell Phil McCracken that I hate him also.
I tell you, Phil Cracken gets no respect. I tell you, Phil Cracken gets no respect.
I got to see him before he died.
Oh, Rodney? Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He is filthy, or he was filthy.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Very filthy. I saw him in Vegas. And boy, he was going after all them blonde bimbos.
I can believe that.
He took his tie off and gave it to one of the best hot, busty blondes he could find in the audience.
Ooh.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he was funny.
You really must have been something before electricity.
Yeah.
No coupons for you,
for having me on the show.
No
It
coupons
was
for you,
really
You're
fun.
welcome, Janet. You're welcome. I appreciate you taking the time and spending part of your day with us. And
Yep. It's great having you on the show, Janet.
Thank
We're
you.
glad you have Discord. It's good because Discord
Yeah.
is just another communication tool. It's great.
Yeah, I'm on it every day, so
Yeah.
every single day I'm on it.
And I do want to thank the following folks for taking the time to stop by and say hello. First, hey, Phil McCracken.
A Scottish therapist.
I also want to thank DJ Ronnie G. I also want to thank Shay for stopping by. Thank you, Shay. Of course, we had Whoopa Whoopa.
Yes.
Whoopa whoopa.
I also want to thank Black Dragon for stopping by. Thank you, Black Dragon. We also had Jet Sparks.
Yep.
Thank you, Jet Sparks. We also had Anonymous. Do, 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 do. Anonymous. Do, 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 do.
That's great.
We also had Bush McFadden.
Bush.
We also had Paul, the Star Wars guys. Thank you, Paul. And we also had Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000, who asked your favorite Looney Tunes character. Yosemite Sam. Ooh, I hate that rabbit.
That's hard. I'd probably say Bugs Bunny.
I like the rooster. What was his name?
Oh,
I say, it's Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn.
He takes the bat and he just starts beating that dog's butt.
Oh, that poor dog. Yeah, he was mean to him. But I liked it when he was mean to the little bitty
The
chicken hawk.
Yeah, the chicken hawk.
The little bitty tiny one. Come here, son. Come here, son. You're doing that wrong.
I tell you,
son, you're doing all wrong.
I tell you, Cash Money is like a bowling ball. No square edges. No sharp edges.
I love that rooster was
I tell you, Cash Money, he gets no respect.
Oh, man.
He was
Yo,
great.
Baron, I'm going to put you in bucks.
Foghorn
Okay.
God.
Yeah,
I also want to thank...
Tunes was great. And then, of course, the newest Looney Tunes, they changed a little bit. Yosemite Sam didn't have guns, and then they added them back. These decisions.
Well, neither does Elmer Fudd.
Right, Elmer Fudd.
I've done better impressions of Elmer Fudd. That was one of my worst.
We'll have to work on that.
Be very, very quiet.
There you go.
I'm hunting rabbit.
It's pretty good.
That was good.
Yep.
I can't do any impressions.
Just be yourself, Janet.
Well, that's all I can do, I guess.
I also want to thank the Padawannabe. Thank you, Padawannabe.
Yes, he's got quite a collection of comics. Really amazing. It's impressive.
I also want to thank Resolute Germ for being here.
Yep.
Also, Kitty Bear. Thank you, Kitty Bear. I also want to thank Captain Fandom Nerd for being here. Thank you, Captain. We also had someone with common sense in here. The Smoking Patriot.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes. Guy is quite a knows a lot about Power Rangers, other topics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We also had Lord Crit of Everest Productions.
Yeah, that whale. Sometimes you just gotta poach it. I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
I thought it was Ever Ass.
That's what I came up with after he came up with the Phantom Booligans. Yes.
We also had George Lucas.
Yep. George Lucas. That was a thing on if you guys ever watch Robot Chicken, and they said, yeah, it's great. Very funny.
We also had Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Good to see him.
Yes. We also had Nova Vaughn, the artist formerly known as Cobra Disney Jedi.
Yep.
We also had Bone, not to be confused with Bones.
Bones.
What's going on? Damn it, Jim, he's dead. That's what's going on.
Pretty much.
And we also had Pops, who will be one of our guests on the 15th.
That's what I thought too. I thought there was some connection to Schoolhouse Rock. They just had their 50th anniversary, and my brother was not happy because they didn't do Conjunction, the song.
They didn't?
They did not.
That's one of the most famous ones they had.
I know. They only talked about it. They had Shaq talk about it. They didn't do it.
Oh, jeez.
Ridiculous.
Bastards.
Oh, yeah. Then they had Ryan Seacrest hosting. That's always...
Yeah!
I know. It's whatever, but yeah.
And I also want to say thank you to our princess. She supports a lot of channels here on YouTube.
She does.
Princess Leia Rose.
She does.
President of the Film McCracken fan club.
Yes. So thank you, one and all, for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for supporting each other in the chat. All of us here on the panel. Please make sure to subscribe to Janet from Another Planet. I have put everybody's links into the description so they're easier to find. And also the other stories that we did not read in this edition, they're there too. So I look forward to seeing you guys possibly Tuesday for another game stream. I will let you know. Just look on Discord and also Twitter to see if I say anything about it. Or who knows? I may just surprise you with a stream.
Ooh, surprise you.
What?
You're gonna dress up? That's gonna be amazing.
No.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna play those clips that DJ Ronnie loved of.
Oh God, no, not that Sailor Moon clip. That was driving.
Disturbing. That was disturbing.
That was
All those
driving
young
me
girls were
crazy.
smiling. All those young girls were smiling.
It was creepy. The smiles were creepy, man.
They were.
But
DJ Ronnie.
I will be back later on tonight at 10:30 p.m. with my reaction and quick review to episode 4 of The Last of Us. So that is what's coming up, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody.
Good day.
We are out of here. Take care, all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. You're gone.
That clip is there if you want to play it.
No, because we got the closing thing here. I don't want to. That's why I just did the voice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to be somewhat respectful.
Somewhat. Not always.
Well, I mean, somewhat. You know, better than not.
Don't make me laugh.
That's what I've been trying to do.
Cash Money can put his change in my piggy bank any day. Cash Money.
She says that to all the guys.
Yeah.